All right, guys, welcome in. I don't know if you just had a chance to watch Candace go Max, but wow. Woo! She was on an absolute tear today. That was refreshing. Candace almost put her battle bun on. I almost had to run over to her house and drop off a bad cop hat. It was that bad. Guys, welcome in. We have a lot to cover today. We got a lot to cover today. There's been a little back and forth, I guess, behind the scenes, and I kind of want to bring that to the forefront so you guys can benefit from some of that discussion as well. And we got to get into our conspiracy theories. Our friend who was the biggest conspiracy theorist of them all, perhaps. We'll talk about that tonight. And I got some cleanup work, some interesting stuff from outer space that we want to talk about here towards the end of the program. So welcome in, guys. We've got so much to go. We are indeed going to go max. We have well, let me say this to set it up a little bit. I thought last night was a fun show. And I got a little pushback because they said, but you said not to attack people. Well, I wasn't attacking anybody last night. I probably said a few things maybe I would have said differently if I would have thought about it and had it to do over again. I probably would have said a couple of things differently. But you say what comes to your mind. I just say stuff. You guys know that. I just say stuff. But here's what I don't like. I don't like people who toe the company line and they don't know what it is they're saying. So, for example, I keep getting this, oh, you should do this, you should do that, you should talk to this person, you should talk to that person. Well, should I? Because we'll go through some documentation tonight. We're going to go through it because this is what I would do with someone else. We're going to go through it tonight. We will go through this stuff and we'll look and say, what is the jury going to see? What is the jury going to see? And then we'll evaluate and say, of what the jury's going to see, what do we know for sure likely is to make it into trial? And I'm telling you right now, it's a little thin. Why? Because it's early. We haven't even had a preliminary hearing yet. We haven't had a preliminary hearing. We have not had any kind of evidentiary offers. We've not had any evidence make its way in front of the judge. We've not had any evidence. I mean, I'm sure they're changing evidence back and forth because we've heard tales of, oh, they got this discovery and they got that discovery. So we will go through that tonight because I think it's absolutely critical. That we bring everyone up to speed so that we're all operating on the same thing. So that's number one. Number two, we hit 250,000 subscribers last night. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. It's been a big few months, last 6 months or so. I think we were at 140,000 on New Year's Eve. So since New Year's Eve to today, we've added another 110,000. That's just in under 3 months. So I cannot thank you guys enough for joining in the program, supporting the program on a regular basis, being here with me 4 nights a week. Some of you members as well, grabbing a 5th show. By way of scheduling, in all likelihood, I will do the members show tomorrow. And the reason for that is this weekend is Easter and Good Friday being what it is on Friday. I figured it's probably better to just dial it back for the day and spend some time with the family. We usually try to go to church at 3:00 in the afternoon, which would make a member show kind of tough anyway. I would either be doing it late on Good Friday or very, very early on Good Friday. And I know other people have schedules and I don't want to interfere with theirs as well. So I will probably do the member show tomorrow. So if you're a member, we'll do that tomorrow. There's been a request. We get a little weird, and I've gotten some requests on specific weirdness they want to hear from. So I'll do a little prep maybe tonight or early tomorrow morning and open the discussion that way, but then just answer your questions. If you guys have questions about the weirdness, we'll get to it. Speaking of weirdness, at some point today, I watched TriggerSmart's video he just released it an hour or two ago on the fireballs falling from the sky. I'd actually read some of this information, and man alive, it's weird out there in the skies. It is weird out there in the skies. I have my theories. Maybe I'll reflect on those towards the end of the program. So gather around, ladies and gentlemen, gather around. I'm going to walk you through what should not be a controversial opening. Nevertheless, I'm going to, in all likelihood, be branded as a bad guy for the opening I'm about to give you. And it shouldn't be that way. This opening should not be controversial at all. All I'm giving you is a statement of historical Christian doctrine. Nevertheless, in the era in which we find ourselves, historical Christian doctrine is often labeled anti-Semitic. So I don't want to be accused of that. Nevertheless, I think Holy Week is a genuine opportunity to break open the theology a little bit. I have a lot of interest, theology being one of them. And I like to talk about things that interest me: serial killers, conspiracy theories, and our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So let me break into this. How do I? Oh, here we go. This is your opening statement. This is Monday of Holy Week for Christians around the world. That's the day we remember the story of Jesus turning over tables in righteous anger and cleansing the temple of money changers. Jesus' dramatic cleansing of the temple is not merely an isolated act of righteousness. It's also a deliberate prophetic sign. The story of Jesus swinging a whip and cleaning the temple unmistakably foreshadowed the cataclysmic destruction of that very same temple in AD 70. The event is one of the few events recorded in all four Gospels. That's a rare distinction. This rare distinction places the cleansing of the temple on par with the feeding of the 5,000, the walking on water, the triumphal entry into Jerusalem, the Last Supper, Judas's betrayal, the crucifixion, and the resurrection. Only 7 stories are told in all 4 Gospels. This is one of them. It must be important. In other words, it's core to the gospel. It's essential. It's something no writer felt could be left out of the story of Jesus. The cleansing of the temple is remembered for its vivid drama. Jesus fashioned a whip of cords. He overturned tables. He scattered coins. He drove out merchants and money changers with the cry, "My house shall be called a house of prayer for all the nations, but you have made it a den of robbers." Yet beneath that surface lies a deeper layer of meaning. This wasn't a protest against commercialism as much as it was the Messiah enacting, at least in miniature, the very judgment he would later pronounce on the temple system itself. This is a judgment filled with terrifying precision almost 40 years later, when Roman legions under Titus reduced the temple to rubble. To understand it, we must first step into the world of first century Judaism. The Second Temple stood as the beating heart of Jewish life. It was the place where heaven touched earth. It did so through sacrifice, prayer, and pilgrimage. Yet by the time of Jesus, that heart had grown awfully corrupt. The outer court, where the Gentiles were allowed, it had been transformed into a bustling marketplace. For Gentiles, this was the only space where non-Jews could approach the God of Israel. Pilgrims arriving for Passover needed animals for sacrifice, and temple-approved currency had to be used to pay the annual half-shekel tax. That's where the money changers and the livestock merchants came into the story. They operated with the approval of the high priest. Their exchange rates were exorbitant, even predatory, we might say in today's terminology. What should have been sacred had become a lucrative cartel that exploited the devotion of the poor and the piety of the pilgrim. The religious elite profited, while the nations were kept at an arm's length. Isaiah's vision of the temple as a house of prayer for all nations was in tatters. Jeremiah's warning of a den of robbers had come to life. That's when Jesus arrived. He arrived not as a reformer with a petition. He arrived as the rightful Lord of the temple. His actions were prophetic theater. By driving out the merchants and overturning their tables, he symbolically dismantled the entire corrupt system. The whip of cords evoked a judgment imagery of the Old Testament prophets who had once purged idolatry from the sanctuary. The scattering of coins and the bellowing of frightened animals signaled chaos and the very end of the sacrificial economy. Most tellingly, Jesus quoted scripture as both a warning and a promise. The temple was meant to be a beacon, not an obstacle. In that moment, Jesus enacted what the prophets had foretold about the day when God himself would visit his house in judgment. After the cleansing, he left the temple. And his disciples began to marvel at the massive stones in the building. And he told them exactly what would happen: the end of temple worship entirely. He said, "Do you see all these great buildings? There will not be one left stone upon another that will not be thrown down." A chilling warning indeed. The lesson was clear. The cleansing was a sign. It declared in action what words alone could not convey. The old order was finished. The temple's days were numbered. Its custodians had rejected the very God it was built to honor. The theological weight cannot be overstated. For centuries, the temple had been the epicenter of the Old Covenant. It was the place where sin was atoned through blood and priests mediated between God and man. Yet Jesus' ministry announced a new and better covenant. He was the true temple, the place where God and humanity meet. By cleansing the physical temple, the temporal temple, he signaled it was obsolete. The system of animal sacrifice, of tithing, of ritual purity had all served its purpose. Now the Lamb of God would offer the once-for-all sacrifice. The money changers' tables represented the old way of approaching God. Jesus overturned them to declare that access to the Father would now come through the temple of his Son. In this light, the cleansing was not anti-Jewish. It was a fulfillment of all that was Jewish. It was profoundly pro-kingdom with Christ as king. It called Israel to repentance before the temple was destroyed. History played out in AD 70 precisely as Jesus said it would. By the end of AD 70, there was no temple. The Jewish revolt against Rome erupted in AD 66, fueled in part by the very religious nationalism and economic exploitation Jesus had confronted. Zealots and rival high priests turned the temple into a fortress and a slaughterhouse. Josephus, the Jewish historian who witnessed the siege, recorded the horrors of famine, infighting, false prophets promising deliverance. And finally, the Roman breach. On the 9th of Av, Titus's soldiers burned the temple to the ground. The gold overlay melted and ran between the stones. Soldiers pried the stones apart to retrieve it. As Jesus promised, not one stone was left upon another. The sacred vessels were carried in triumphal procession to Rome. This is depicted on the Arch of Titus. The sacrificial system had been ended forever. No high priest, no altar, no atonement available through the blood of bulls and goats. The old covenant visibly, irrevocably fulfilled in Christ. I raise this in part because of the pernicious and malicious invention of a phrase foreign to historic Christian teaching. If you followed the heretical dispensational theologians and their public discussion, you've probably heard the phrase replacement theology. If you've not heard that phrase, perhaps you've heard its more scholarly sounding alternative, supersessionism. They're the same concept. And I'll repeat it, they are entirely foreign to historic Christian teaching. Replacement theology is the idea that Christians have replaced Israel as God's chosen people. That is, of course, nonsense. It is nonsensical. Nobody has replaced anybody. It's like saying a newborn child has replaced the fetus that once grew in the mother's womb. It's nonsense. It means nothing. The newborn is not a replacement of the fetus. It is a fulfillment of the fetus. The fetus and the newborn are not separate beings. They're the same beings at different stages of development. When that being was in the womb, it was called a fetus. It had a purpose, and that purpose was to develop into a newborn baby. Once it breached the womb and began to live outside the womb, it became a newborn baby. This attempt to pervert this beautiful and historic Christian teaching into something sinister by calling it replacement theology, as if Christians are somehow trying to steal from Israel, is shameful. It's actually shameless. And those pushing this nonsense are shameless as well. And that is your Holy Monday opening statement. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I'm so tired of that phrase. I'm so tired of that phrase. I'm so tired of that phrase. And I'm tired of the hucksters who push it. That includes Mike Huckabee, Rob McCoy, all these dangerous people who are trying to curry favor and get money and push this nonsense heresy. It's gross. It's disgusting. I don't talk about theology a lot on here, not unless asked, but I had to today. You look at the readings of today's gospel is the cleansing of the temple. It is every Monday of every Holy Week. It's the cleansing of the temple. They just rotate through the various versions every year. And I'm tired of it. So I read the gospel today. I thought, you know what? This is gross. This is gross. All right. We're done with, no, we're not done with the Jesus in the Bible, but we're going to dial it back a little bit. Hang on just a second. I got to ask a favor. Sorry. Okay. Where were we? Oh, that's right. Yesterday's show, I'm not going to pull it up and play it. If you were here, you saw it. If not, I'll give you a 30-second recap. Yesterday in yesterday's show, I think, thoroughly dismantled the idea that Andrew Kolvet had offered an alibi. He might have an alibi. He might have been on a different plane than I think he was on, but what he did yesterday was not offering an alibi. Instead, as cowards do, he didn't have the, oh man, I almost said a bad word. He didn't have the onions to man up and say, no, I wasn't on that plane. Quit saying I was. He didn't have those onions. His manhood was temporarily suspended. It was up in his groin. It was in his abdomen. They hadn't dropped yet. Instead, he went and leaked what looked to me like a fraudulent document. In my opinion, it was a fraudulent document. He leaked an apparently fraudulent document to some little-known ex-poster who couldn't get any traction because no one knew who the hell she was. So somebody had to go make a video of it. No one knew who the hell she was. She couldn't get any traction. And so Andrew had to finally come out and put his seal of approval on it. This is factual. Instead of having the courage, the guts, the manhood to pick up the phone and call me and say, I don't know why you keep saying I was on this earlier flight. Here's the documentation showing I wasn't. I hope I can clear that up. Happy to have it. Or if he doesn't have the courage to call me, just have the courage to post it yourself. Have the courage to post it yourself. Put it on your X feed. Put it on your page. Just put it up there. Let's look at it. Rather than leaking what looks like an obviously fraudulent document. So that's what we went through yesterday. And if you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. It was a great show, if I do say so myself. But you can go through and you can look at all the reasons we thought that was a lousy attempt at establishing an alibi. Why would he do that? Because if he was on an earlier flight, there's a very high likelihood, in my opinion, there was a plot to remove Charlie Kirk and he was part of it, or he was at least aware of it. He has to be on a later flight. There were 2 flights from Santa Barbara that day, one to Scottsdale early. He would have probably had to leave his office before Charlie Kirk went down, and he's going to have a hard time explaining that if he was on that flight. The second option was he took the later flight, and he has to explain why he waited 3 hours to get a flight out. Either way is fine. I don't care which. He's in a bad spot either way. But if he was on the later flight, just produce the evidence. Don't leak it out through people no one ever heard of. With that said, other podcasters weighed in on it shortly after we got off the air, and they did a horrific job. And I'm not surprised they did a horrific job. I'm not surprised at all they did a horrific job. These are not professional broadcasters by any stretch of the imagination. These are not people who have experience with looking at evidence. These are not people who have experience with how to confront evidence. These are people who just throw things off the top of their head, and because they go unchallenged or because they have people like clapping like seals in their comment section, they think they've done a good job. Their theories haven't been tested. I kid you not. This was the answer. My understanding of their dispute of our show yesterday was, well, they're showing the Part 135 certificates from now. They don't know what the Part 135 certificates said back in September. We don't. It's available online. It's available online. This isn't like selling Tinker Toys at a yard sale. When you sell an aircraft, there's documentation. You have to have it certified as airworthy every so often. Some planes once a year, some planes twice a year, some planes 4 times a year, some planes every month. Those are documented online. You can go to the FAA's website and find them. If you're going to operate a Part 135 charter, like Paradise Jets, like Regency Air, there's a number of these things around the country. If you're going to do this, you have to file paperwork with the government. They have to know you're not a psycho. You know how you have to basically get naked to go through airport security these days? Imagine if you're able to fly a missile. And that's all an airplane is. It's a missile. It's loaded with jet fuel. It flies 600, 700 miles per hour. You can guide it with precision anywhere you want it to go. The government wants to know who's flying missiles. And so there's documentation associated with all this. I'm sorry if low-budget podcasters don't know this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if the guests of low-budget podcasters don't know this. I'm sorry if they don't know how the internet works. Al Gore invented the internet a long time ago. We've been using it for quite a while. You're able to look things up. These other podcasts, go get a daisy. Go get a daisy. You just go pick them up somewhere. You just ask, is there a daisy out there? And they come and they offer to help. You cut a deal. I'll give you X amount of money per month. Will you help me do a little research here? Yes, I will, in fact. Then you don't look like you do other podcasters when you go on the air and you're not prepared. It's not hard. Not hard. Go get one. Stop having guests in for free that don't know what the hell they're talking about. They make you look bad. So we went and pulled the documentation. And I'll show it to you because apparently this is an issue. Apparently it's an issue that we didn't know we had to resolve, but we went and found it because, man, we don't know when it was. Okay, we'll show you. We'll show you. This was the plane. I hate to do this publicly. I hate to waste valuable airtime doing this. This was the plane as you saw it. The Hawker Beechcraft 400A. This is the plane that he allegedly flew in on. And you'll see the certificate issue date here was 5/16 of 2019. This is a valid certificate that has not changed hands since 2019. So that's number one. That's number one. I hate we have to do this. Then we have, just so you guys know, this is what they all look like. This is the Delta Zulu plane. This is the plane that Erica flew in on. And this will show, the reason I'm showing you this is because I'll show you what happens if something sells after the fact or something changes charters. Notice here, the certificate issue date on this Delta Zulu plane was after Charlie Kirk went down. So there's a record if it's changed hands. That's my point. One of these planes changed hands. One did not. Had it changed hands, there would be a record. Oh, but Baron, are you suggesting you can state with absolute certainty that plane, the Regency airplane, the charter held by that plane was Regency Air on September? Yeah, I am. I am actually. It's rare that I go to 100% certainty, but I can tell you with 100% certainty that the FAA records support that. So anyone who got on air last night and speculated aloud that we might not know what we're talking about because they're just looking the stuff up 6 months later. No, we're not. No, we're not. That's not how we do things around here. I'm not sure what you do, but that's not how we do things. Don't make me get my bad cop hat. I don't even know where it is. There it is. Don't make me put it on. I will. But let's just double check one more time because sometimes one piece of evidence is not enough. You wouldn't go into court with one piece of evidence when there's more out there, would you? Well, no, of course you would. Of course you wouldn't. So I'm going to point you to this document. This is a list right off the FAA website. Title 14, Part 135, operators as of September 17th, 2025. Regency Air is operating this plane. I'm telling you guys, a big component of yesterday's program was showing you that it is, in my opinion, impossible that Paradise Jets would produce that document. It's impossible that Paradise Jets would produce that document, in my opinion. I suppose there's some outside scenario where everybody agrees we're going to break the law. We're not going to follow federal aviation regulations. We're going to disregard Title 14, Part 135 of the CFR. We're going to just wing it. I suppose there's a possibility where that exists. But assuming everybody's doing things the right way, that looks like a fraudulent document. Looks like a fraudulent document. I don't know any other way to say it. In fact, we'll go one step further. We'll do one more thing. One more thing here. Because we had the same document on this date just to double check, to make sure that Regency wasn't actually, or Paradise wasn't actually operating that plane. They only held a Part 135 charter for 2 jets on September of 2025. And that is for these 2 planes here. Neither one of those is the Regency flight he allegedly flew in on. I say it again, the evidence is bulletproof. Regency operated that plane on that day, September 10th, 2025. I'm 100% sure. And I'm 100% sure Paradise Jets did not. I'm 100% sure. And for someone to sit around and speculate that we're incompetent or lying is nonsensical. It's moronacy. Moron. What did I say yesterday? Moron something? It's whatever it is. Whatever it is. And finally, the only other argument someone could make that we were wrong is to tell us that Paradise Jets is a broker and had actually brokered that plane. That would be legal if they were, but you'll see right here on their own website, this is the Paradise Jets website, we are not a broker. We own and operate our fleet. So when you fly Paradise Jets, you're flying with us. You don't have to take my word for it, ladies and gentlemen. Take the word of Paradise Jets. Anyone who would platform such nonsense is irresponsible. I would say they owe me an apology, but I don't want one. I don't want an apology. I'd rather do this. I'd rather do this. It's just total nonsense. Just total nonsense. Lest you think we just pulled this stuff from nowhere, this is the full download of the FAA database here. You can see it here. You've got all these. This is every charter in the country. We scroll. We are almost 1,000 rows down, and we're still in the A's. This stuff's available online. I'm sorry if you guys don't know how to do research. I'm sorry if you don't hire people who know how to do good research. I'm sorry if you don't take the time to make sure what you're saying is not nonsense. Actually have, even, believe it or not, one more piece of evidence. Lest you think we don't do a good job around here, don't know what we're doing. Here is the entire history for this aircraft. This is the entire history for this aircraft. You can go through it and you can look at every certificate date, every transfer, every 135 certificate issued, every airworthiness certificate issued. It's all right here, right off the FAA website. So if you're going to put up, Andrew, a document like you pawned off, you have to know who you're dealing with. You have to know the match you're up against. You're out of your league, guys. You're out of your league. Is it possible he was on the later flight? Sure. Is it possible He was on the later flight operated by Paradise Jets? I don't think so. I don't think so. And if you were on the later flight, why this? Why this, Andrew? If you were on the later flight, why this? Why would you do this? Why would you try to pawn this off as original? I've got hundreds of pages right off the federal government's website of everything to do with this case with respect to those two airlines, with respect to those two planes. You don't get the option of going into Photoshop and ripping something off. You don't get the option of going to your buddy's company, Paradise, because they happen to speak at your events, Cynthia Thomas. They happen to own the planes you normally fly on. You don't get the option to go to them if they were the ones that put this together. I think they have real FAA issues. The FAA will weigh in on this. We will file a complaint. We'll find out the truth. Are they illegally operating jets or not? We'll see how Cynthia Thomas and Jamie Thomas respond. They might have to provide manifests that determine whether or not they operated that plane. And if they did, why did they do it illegally? Why did they do it apparently illegally? In my opinion, illegally. Maybe the FAA will come back and say this is perfectly normal. If so, I'll be the first one to get on this podcast, and I'll tell you everything's on the up and up. I was mistaken, and I apologize. I don't think that's coming. I don't think that's coming. We'll hear from the FAA. We'll let you know what they say. In the meantime, they can correct the record. They're free to. They're free to go back and backpedal. They're free to go back and say, well, they'll do what they normally do. And this is a warning to you people that are cooperating this way. This is a warning to you people who are showing the pictures of random kids with a finger over it and the name blacked out. This is a warning. If they'll back the bus up over Andrew and act like he was lying, quoting the doctor, if they'll do that, what do you think they'll do to you? What do you think they'll do to you? This is big boy stuff. This is real stuff here. This is real stuff. We are 6 months and 20 days after Charlie Kirk was taken out. 6 months and 20 days. I don't think for 1 second Tyler Robinson was supposed to survive turning himself in. But he did. But he did. If something happens to him and he dies, it will be very easy to close the books on this case and end it. We'll take a look tonight at the charging documents. I don't think they're accurate. But we'll look at it. We'll look at it. I think we will. I think we'll have time to look at it. Not, we'll look at it Wednesday. But we'll take a look at it. And when we do, we'll ask ourselves, is there a possibility these charging documents were manufactured to say things that weren't actually true? We'll look at the evidence out there for whether or not they're accurate. So we'll look at that. We'll look at that. First, I want to get to the biggest conspiracy theorist who ever lived. Because he had some really, what I think, deep thoughts when it comes to what it is he believes about the government participating in high-level assassinations in broad daylight. You guys might recognize this guy. He's not foreign to many of you. Most of you know who he is. It's the guy on the left here. His name's Charlie. Charlie is standing here on a campus. This fine gentleman will be asking him a question, and he will respond. And I think the response is incredibly interesting when you listen to the content of the response. This man behind him in the black shirt will one day step forward and touch his right arm. About a third of a second after he does that, a loud bang will be heard. And unfortunately, this guy sitting up right here will be killed. He'll be killed in what is either the most coincidental, strangest, poorly timed step forward and pat your right arm in history, or that guy was in on it. But that's not the purpose of tonight. I just noticed that. I want to play this for you because I think it's very interesting how Charlie thought about high-profile assassinations with lots of questions and lots of weirdness versus how his employees feel about it.
Hey, Charlie. So I agree with a lot of your takes regarding black crime, women, and like the LGBTQ community.
It's all right. You're good.
Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to get like some insight and perspective on what you think of the JFK assassination and why Israel's like kind of tied to it a lot.
Yeah, so there's really no evidence Israel's tied to it. I mean, the fact Mossad is mentioned in the JFK files doesn't mean Israel's tied to it. I actually don't believe it was Lee Harvey Oswald that acted alone. I think it's much more.
Wait, what? What? You're telling me a guy was identified by the government, Charlie, as the lone gunman in a high-profile assassination involving a high-powered rifle? And you don't believe he did it acting alone? Are you out of your mind? Are you a conspiracy theorist? That sounds like something a demonic podcaster would say. Are you kidding me? Are you out of your mind?
Likely that it was Cuban intelligence and our own government that killed JFK.
Our own government? Oh, Charlie. Now, this sounds like Candace Owens. Are you serious with this right now? The government has spoken, Charlie. The FBI has spoken. They had an entire commission with the Supreme Court Chief Justice heading it up. Are you crazy right now?
Okay, for multiple reasons. And I believe there was a second shooter.
What? You think someone else was involved? This is unbelievable.
Could go through all the reasons as to why, but I think it defies logic that Lee Harvey Oswald, who was a notoriously bad shot, somehow found himself all the way up in the, the fourth floor or the fifth floor of the Texas School Book Depository, right as that motorcade was flying in a single bolt action rifle, being able to administer, I think it was 3 shots in 5 seconds with lethal precision, even though we all saw with our lying eyes in the Zapruder film, John F. Kennedy's head go back and to the left.
Oh, that's weird. So you're suggesting, Charlie, when you get shot, you fall to the direction from the gunshot? You don't lean in? What? This is so weird. I don't believe this for a second. Who is this guy? Some of you may not know who he is. He was a famous political personality. He had a podcast. He wrote books. His name's Charlie Kirk. He was tragically gunned down. Ironically, I guess, in light of this conversation, tragically gunned down or tragically taken down. And there was some discussion about whether or not it happened. And there were some insane podcasters. I mean, truly insane podcasters, people who'd lost their minds. And they came out after he went down and they started saying maybe the government was involved. Maybe there were others involved. Maybe there was a second person involved. Maybe there were more. And obviously these people were demonic. Obviously. I'm just shocked to hear him saying this.
If there are 2 shooters, that means that the Warren Commission, which was the official report on the JFK assassination, was fraudulent and was faulty.
Wait, no. You're telling me a government commission rigged? No. Come, stop it. This is ludicrous. I feel like I'm watching Candace Owens. This is nuts. Second shooter. The Supreme Court Chief Justice headed up the Warren Commission. A future president was on the Warren Commission. Congressmen, senators. This was our federal government putting its seal of approval on the fact that it was a lone gunman acting alone with a high-powered rifle from a distance, shooting a high-profile political figure in broad daylight. It's over. There's no question. Anyone who would suggest otherwise, I don't know if you're on the payroll of Qatar, Russia. Are you anti-Semitic? This is nuts.
And we know from dozens of eyewitnesses and many first-person accounts that the thing called the grassy knoll, which is right there, which you all can visit in downtown Dallas, that there was activity there. They wouldn't allow people up there. People heard gunshots from there. If it wasn't for the Zapruder film, all this would just be hearsay.
No. Because at his assassination, again, this is a guy named Charlie Kirk. At his assassination, dozens of people claimed that the bang actually came from much closer to the tent, that it didn't come from far away. And they said it sounded more like a firecracker than a high-powered rifle. I mean, the irony that he would even suggest this, that there's some grassy knoll. I mean, that's like a conspiracy theory. We all know this. We've heard this since childhood. The grassy knoll. It's a joke when someone says the grassy knoll. In fact, I had Adam Bartholomew from Life is Driving on a long time ago. I think it was back in September or October. And he started using the phrase grassy knoll, and we all laughed when he used it because he was describing a little hilly area in Utah Valley University and kept calling it the grassy knoll. And it was just so hilarious because only conspiracy theorists, only lunatics, only people like Candace Owens would suggest a grassy knoll once the government has told you who did it.
So I believe there were two shooters, but I think it's a much more likely explanation that our own government was either involved or aware, and Cuban intelligence also very much wanted JFK dead.
You're telling me that our own government was involved or aware, and that a foreign intelligence would operate to kill a high-profile person in a conspiratorial manner on U.S. soil? Are you? I am beside myself. Where is Andrew Kolvet? Where is Blake Neff? Is Blake Neff Speed around? This is nuts. I can't believe this. Demonic. It's demonic.
So do you not think it was a coincidence that Zapruder was Jewish and Jacob Rubenstein was Jewish as well?
Well, so, okay, I actually didn't even know Zapruder was Jewish, but why was that matter? And then if the video came out, how does that help or weaken the cause?
It's not like a flat out statement. It's just like something to think about. Like, Israel's always tied to these type of events, so
yeah, I would push that. I would push back a little bit on that. It's fine. It's a fair question. By the way, the way you get more anti-Semitism is by booing people that have questions like that. So we need.
No, that's not true either. That's not true either. That again, I don't know what's gotten into this guy. I don't know what's gotten into that guy. Anyone who suggests something like that should be shouted down, booed, shamed. I mean, what are we talking about here? This is nuts.
Need to just talk about it. Again, in the JFK files, Mossad is mentioned. One of the reasons why Mossad is mentioned so much is that they're just a very good intelligence operation. It was not mentioned as if they were tied or that they knew about it or that they were involved. Again, I think the best reading of what happened there is who wanted JFK dead the most.
Obviously, Lee Harvey Oswald, because he's the one who did it alone with a high-powered rifle in broad daylight. I mean, come on. This is not hard to solve. It's been solved for decades.
Again, a lot of people said Israel wanted JFK dead. I'd love to hear that argument. But definitely Lyndon Baines Johnson.
The guy who succeeded him, you're suggesting the one who took power from the dead guy might have an incentive to remove the dead guy? Oh, my gosh. You know, I don't know if you guys were aware of this. When he died, when Charlie, the guy on the left, the one answering the question, not the student, not the guy on the right, the guy on the left, when he died, the person who succeeded him was a woman named Erica. Erica is his wife, believe it or not, like the vice president of the House. What he's suggesting here is that the vice president of the country might have been involved, might have had awareness, might have let it go forward, might have been involved in the planning of the death of the president. And I think it's truly demonic. I mean, if you think about it, it's just truly demonic. This is Candace Owens tier stuff. Because that would mean Like, if you carried this forward to this situation with Charlie, that would be like saying Erica was involved in some way or had some knowledge or was aware of the plan and didn't stop it. I mean, do you see the problem here, Charlie? Do you see audience? I don't know if the audience is even following at this point, but that's the equivalent, and that's insane. I've been told that's insane over and over and over. The vice president. Come on. You're telling me the person who succeeded the dead guy could no way. No way. What else?
And parts of our own government, and the Cubans wanted him dead. And who actually made it happen? There were like 15 or 20 things that happened that day that were inexcusable.
Oh, now we're going to start pointing of all the crazy things that happened that day that shouldn't have happened. All the people. Oh, you're telling me 20 different people were involved? Oh my gosh. They wouldn't have been able to keep that quiet, obviously, for 65 years. 15 or 20 things happened that day. You know how silly this sounds? This is ludicrous. This is just nonsensical. 15 or 20 things went down. Charlie, that would be like saying, there were a bunch of black fragmented pieces of plastic in the car after the dead guy was taken away. That would be like saying, they were trying something new and they had to have the main AV guy there that day. And that was different. There's all these things taking place. That would be like saying somebody jumped up immediately afterwards and pulled his pants down and said, I did it, and would have, attracted attention and allowed potentially guilty parties to escape. That would have been like saying that they paved over the scene or something a few days later. That would have been like saying the head AV guy, who just happened to be there and wasn't normally there, went up and removed camera footage immediately afterwards, actually stood on the chair of the dead guy. Do you know how crazy this sounds? 15 or 20 things happened that day that were inexcusable. I'll tell you, I'm very disappointed right now. This is Candace tear stuff.
They changed the parade route. He rode in an open air convertible. LBJ decided not to ride alongside of him.
Okay. For example, let's say your tent had been elevated that day. Let's say the security people thought it would be smarter to be inside. Yet people on your team were saying, no, it has to be an outside event, and we want it at this particular location. You know how crazy that sounds? You know how crazy that sounds? That's insane. That's nuts. That's like saying they would have, maybe you used to wear protective bulletproof vest stuff and they canceled your order. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. 15 or 20 things. LBJ decided not to ride alongside him. Andrew Kolvet decided to stay in Santa Barbara. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
The vehicle slowed down right when it went by the Texas School Book Depository.
The vehicle slowed down. Oh, and then the security guard stepped forward and touched his arm. I mean, guys, he's twitchy. He's twitchy. Okay, he's twitchy. Dan Flood, the guy standing behind him, he's twitchy. He just steps forward randomly and touches his arm. Wait, what? Oh, he doesn't step forward randomly and touch his arm? Oh, he did one time. Oh, wait, what did you say? He did one time? Oh, really? Oh, he did it in response to a joke about call signs at Texas A&M? Oh, no. Really? Yeah, that's weird. Okay, that's a little weird, if I'm being honest. But that's just one weird thing. That's not 15 or 20, Charlie. Come on.
A lot there, right?
Well, yeah, there's a lot there. Yeah, I guess now that you mention it.
And then, again, I think that all of us are smarter to believe that it was simply Lee Harvey Oswald.
A lot of us are smarter than to believe it was. That would be like me coming on a podcast, Charlie, and saying, a lot of us are smarter than believing it was simply Tyler Robinson. I mean, come on. This is so unbelievable. The government has spoken, Charlie. There were charging documents. There were affidavits. There was an arrest. There was a gun. And the gun had Lee Harvey Oswald's prints on it. And it had been fired. There may or may not have been a screwdriver. I don't know about a screwdriver. But there was a gun. I don't understand this. A lot of us are smarter than to believe it was simply Lee Harvey Oswald. We know only psychopaths think they're smarter than to believe it was only Tyler Robinson. Psychopaths, crazy, demonic.
More important question is not, oh, who did it? We have to first acknowledge it that more than one person did it.
Oh my gosh. This is crazy. We know it was Tyler Robinson. We know he did it alone. Oh, we're talking about JFK. We know it was Lee Harvey Oswald. We know he did it alone. This is nuts, people. This is crazy talk. They're out of touch with reality.
Once we acknowledge that more than one person did it, then we can expose our government to have lied to us about the JFK assassination, which then I think will sober a lot of us about trusting the government in the future.
Oh, trust in the government. It's the government. They don't lie to us. I got to stop this. This is too much. It's the government, Charlie. It's the government. They don't lie to us. Why would they lie to us? They want to solve crimes. They knew it was Lee Harvey Oswald alone with a rifle from a distance, shooting a high-profile political figure in broad daylight. I don't care about the 15 or 20 weird things. 15 or 20 weird things happen every day. People tell lies. This is ridiculous. Oh, it must have been LBJ. Why? Because he took Kennedy's place? That's why it had to be LBJ? Come on. There were all these different things that were happening that day for the first time. Well, different things happen, Charlie. Different things happen. I'm sure that's the only time he said something silly like that. He would never, for example, have sat down with Tucker Carlson and said something so stupid. Not Charlie Kirk. No. Not Charlie Kirk. He would never have sat down with Tucker Carlson and indulged in conspiracy theories, because we all know Tucker Carlson is, in fact, a conspiracy theorist. What say you, Charlie Kirk?
Talk about JFK. It's so obvious why they're keeping that declassified, because at the very least, the government knew it was going to happen, and at the probable, the government was involved in the assassination of JFK.
Can you imagine if I got on a podcast and said something so absurd? I'll give you a modern parallel. If I got on this broadcast and I said, it's probable the government was aware of the death of Charlie Kirk, for example, that they were aware before it happened, and it was probable the government was involved in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. That is absolute lunacy. That is conspiracy level tier stuff. That is crazy stuff. The government has spoken. There was a commission. The Supreme Court Chief Justice was on it. This is absolute lunacy, Charlie. Hopefully he's done with his foolishness.
And therefore, no, this is important, because therefore it is an introductory radicalization event. And they know that. An introductory radicalization event is what all of you had during COVID, which is where you start to then go down a sequence of questions. And once you begin, there's no stopping you.
Wait, what? You said JFK's assassination was an introductory level radicalization event? That's like saying people who are concerned that the government might have been involved or the covered up the means and the how, the who, the how, and the why of the death of Charlie Kirk. That would mean that could be considered an introductory radicalization event. Are you out of your mind? COVID? We know what happened with COVID. It was a bat in China. It was unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Thankfully, Dr. Fauci invented a vaccine very quickly, very safe, very effective. And the more people who got it, the better off society was. And if we had to lose our business, if we had to lose our homes, we had to lose our cars, it was worth it. It was worth it. Because it was too dangerous to leave the house, guys. It was entirely too dangerous to leave the house during COVID. Unless, of course, I mean, obviously you're allowed to go out and protest George Floyd. You could do that. But other than that, like COVID would only spread if you went out for non-left-wing causes. If you went out for a left-wing cause, it didn't have an effect. Didn't have an effect. Just like when you went to a restaurant. You could stand up and walk through the restaurant, but you had to wear a mask because COVID, as we know, is in that 5 to 6 foot range. It hovers above the heads of people sitting at tables. So when you sat at a table, you could take the mask off. Of course, because you're below the COVID zone. The COVID zone's up here. No one sits at the table like this. No. That's for people walking. That's where COVID is. That's why you would wear your mask up there. But when you sat down, you didn't have to worry about COVID. Take the mask off, commune with your friends, but only if there were fewer than 6 at a table. And what he's suggesting is that perhaps the government was lying to us and that was some sort of introductory radicalization attempt or event, that you might have lived through that, and then you would have trouble believing the government the next time they come along and say a lone gunman with a high-powered rifle assassinated a high-profile political figure by himself in broad daylight. You might have trouble believing that, and that's foolishness. That's conspiracy level stuff. That's the kind of only people that watch Candace think that. That's foolishness. That's ludicrous. I can't believe this guy. I can't believe this guy. Oh my gosh, what is this? Is this a tweet of his? Did he write this? Oh no. No. Not Charlie Kirk. Surely not. Charlie would never write something like, oh my gosh, he did. A former CIA director said, thank God for the deep state. Oh, he's one of those people that believes in the deep state? Oh my gosh. Well, we know what people are who think of believe in the deep state, huh? Hello, lunatic. Chuck Schumer warned Trump not to mess with the intel community because they have 6 ways from Sunday to take you out. I remember that, and we all know Chuck didn't really mean that. This was never some right-wing conspiracy. This was a concerted effort to destroy the president. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want you to take this tweet out of context, so I'm going to put it in context because it would be easy to read this tweet and believe that what Charlie Kirk is saying is sometimes the federal government, the United States federal government, conspires to engage in illegalities that destroy people. You could read that tweet and you could conclude that, but we know that's not true. We know they would never do something like that. That's foolishness. So what he obviously meant was, Candace is demonic. That's right. That's what he meant. That's what we know he meant. That's what we know he meant. So guys, knock it off. Okay, just knock it off. This has gone too far. This has gone too far. Oh my gosh, is he bringing up JFK again? Are you kidding me? Can you leave it alone with the government conspiracy theories already? 60 years ago today, JFK was murdered in broad daylight. That's weird. A moment that would alter the trajectory of American history and shatter the public's trust in the federal government. Well, that's interesting. Today, the same intel agencies whose fingerprints are all over the JFK assassination are more unaccountable and more weaponized than ever. You know, they killed JFK for saying this stuff. If you believe the conspiracy theories, you might be tempted to believe that when JFK said he was going to destroy the intelligence agencies and scatter them to the winds, that they would have killed him over something like that. And here's Charlie Kirk saying something similar. So I know some of you will leap to that conclusion that, oh my gosh, maybe the government did have something to do with Charlie Kirk's. Please, by all means, ladies and gentlemen, let's not get carried away. Let's hear the rest of what he has to say. Maybe he clears it up. But now they have vast technological powers, from universal surveillance to the new tool of AI? Huh? You're saying the intelligence community that you were just talking bad about has vast technological powers, meaning they might have weapons we don't know about? The ability to spy on you and know your true thoughts, read your text messages and emails, and know whether or not you're a danger to their power, their entrenched power in their deep state? What? No. Oh, gosh. What's next? Surely you're going to clear this up. Because right now what he's doing is he's taking on the military-industrial complex. And we know that some people jump to conclusions, but I'm sure he'll clear that up here. When you take on the military-industrial complex and the police state, okay, finally, talk to reason. Settle us down here, Charlie. Don't be surprised when those in power call for you to be eliminated. Well, I mean, I think I read that wrong, guys. I apologize. Let me restate that. The way I read it sounded really dark. So let me try that again. When you take on the military-industrial complex and the police state, don't be surprised when those in power call for you to be eliminated. Huh. Well, surely you're not going to turn around and take on these powers then, right? Because that might lead them to want to eliminate you. And this last sentence should clear this up. Surely he'll step away from that. 11/22/63 should be a day that reminds us that power must be returned to we the people, the sovereign, and America's intel agencies must be brought to heel. That almost reads like he's going after the very intel agencies he just said could eliminate you if you challenge them. That's weird. That is weird. I never knew this about this guy. I never knew that about this guy. This is wild stuff. This is really wild stuff. Because you could read all this together. I mean, you could look at the appearance he gave and with Tucker. You could read the statement he gave, read it together with the statement he gave at the university there where he was talking to that young college student. And then you put it with the tweets. And I mean, you could come to the conclusion that Charlie Kirk believed the government might take him out if he challenged him. That's dark. That's dark. Got breaking news here, ladies and gentlemen. Just hitting the wires in the last 45 minutes or so. Let me bring this to you. This is going to be shocking. Going to be shocking here. We keep talking as if the preliminary hearing is going to start in May. Surprise! We might have to count on Tyler Robinson staying alive for another 6 months. Bullets used to kill Charlie Kirk did not match rifle allegedly used by suspect Tyler Robinson. New court filing claims. The bullet that killed conservative commentator Charlie Kirk did not match the rifle used by suspect killer Tyler Robinson. A bombshell new court filing states Robinson, 22, is facing capital murder charges on a potential death sentence for Kirk's murder at Utah Valley University on September 10th. But his defense attorneys now argue that the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives was unable to identify the bullet recovered at the autopsy to the rifle allegedly tied to Mr. Robinson. The defense team may now offer the ATF firearm analyst's testimony as exculpatory evidence, they said in a motion filed Friday to push the preliminary hearing back at least 6 months. It also notes DNA reports filed by the Bureau of Investigation and ATF will take time for the defense team to analyze because reports indicated that several different DNA were found on some items of evidence. Quote, as these cases indicate, determining the number of contributors to a DNA mixture and determining whether the FBI and ATF reliably applied validated and correct scientific procedures is a complicated process, which requires the assistance of various types of experts, including forensic biologists, geneticists, system engineers, and statisticians, all of whom must review and evaluate several different categories in the filing states, according to Deseret News. Robinson's attorneys added that they have received about 20,000 electronic audio files, videos, and written documents that prosecutors have presented as evidence in the case. The defense team has devoted and will continue to devote significant resources to processing discovery, including identifying materials not yet received to inform readiness for the preliminary hearing, the filing states. However, the defense team is realistic, and the comprehensive review required to determine what is missing will take hundreds of hours. What is known at present is that Mr. Robinson has not yet received the forensic case files and data necessary to investigate. Through the use of qualified experts, the scientific reports the state intends to introduce at the preliminary hearing, the attorneys continued. Defense attorneys and prosecutors had previously met on March 12 Based on that meeting, the defense said in the motion it believes prosecutors will introduce discrete buckets of evidence through 3 identified law enforcement witnesses at the preliminary hearing. This includes conclusory forensic DNA and ballistic reports authored by the FBI and ATF, social media data, testimony by law enforcement officers about the crime scene and search locations, and testimony by Mr. Robinson's parents and roommate, as well as significant amount of hearsay from non-testifying police officers. So I think we'll have to sit by and see if the court grants this motion. I've not read the motion. I will. I will. But I will admit that's pretty shocking. That's pretty shocking because I was told there were mountains of evidence. Case was 100%. In fact, I have a quote here where Andrew Kolvet says he is 100% sure Tyler Robinson did it. I would think the bullet would match if you were 100% sure. Why so interested, by the way? Why so interested, Andrew? Have anything to do with the quality of the itinerary you gave as evidence that you were where you said you were? Is the reason the same? Is the reason the same? This is ludicrous. I knew he was a conspiracy theorist. I knew he was a conspiracy theorist. Candace weighed in on this via Twitter. I will show you what she had to say. It was very similar to my reaction moments ago. Where are all my neocons who have been overwhelmed, overwhelmed by the non-existent evidence against Tyler Robinson? You all should be ashamed of yourselves. Hope the money was worth your soul. And the other part no one wants to discuss, about 7 sets of prints were found on the gun, which the bomb dog did not find, which means it wasn't fired at all. Overwhelming. I'm not whelmed. I'm telling you, Candace, I remain not whelmed. I've never been whelmed in this case. Not from the first moment that I heard, 33 hours after the gunshot that they had captured their guy. I've never been whelmed. I wasn't whelmed a couple of weeks ago when we read about the ATF report where we couldn't match the bullet to the gun. I wasn't whelmed. I wasn't whelmed when I read Brandy and Billy's report from the family that the family said they don't speak because only about 2% of what they read is factual and they don't want to contribute to this misinformation campaign. I wasn't whelmed. I wasn't whelmed. I remain very not whelmed. I know we all sound like that guy we were watching at the college acting like, well, was there a conspiracy? I know we all sound like that right now. I get it. I get it. But I'm not whelmed. I'm just not whelmed. I want to take you to a statement that I think is very timely in light of what we just heard. Actually, let me do something real quick before we do that. Let me move this document so I can still read it when we're watching the video. There we go. All right, now share screen. Now share screen. I'll play you about 28 seconds here. Under fair use, Andrew, under fair use.
There is going to be even more evidence that is presented to the public in May.
How do you know there will be more evidence? That's what I don't understand. I've been practicing law for 20 years. 20 years. I've tried cases, taken depositions, argued on appeal, written appellate briefs. I've worked in criminal defense, civil defense. I know how trials work. I've tried cases, I think, in 10 states. I went back and counted one time. state courts, federal courts, military courts. I've tried cases a lot of places. I'm always amused when a guy whose dream was to be a Hollywood scriptwriter, Andrew Kolvet here, I'm always amused when he is so confident opining on how the legal system works. There's going to be so much evidence presented in May. Well, now it sounds like it might be November. This is unusual here. I know you guys are in a hurry to get this out of the way because the longer it goes on, Andrew, the longer we ask questions like, why does that itinerary you provided look so weird? Whose kids are those in the picture that you provided with Erica's or some lady? Well, it could be Erica because I noticed the knuckle ratio, the upper knuckle to lower knuckle was almost 2-to-1. So I know it could have been her finger, but were those her kids? Were those her kids? If we saw a picture of her kids, would they match? What? I'm always amused when these people opine on what will happen. What will happen?
At the evidentiary hearing, okay? And it's a mountain of evidence.
It's not an evidentiary hearing. It's a preliminary hearing, but that's okay. That's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there. But he just talked about a mountain of evidence. It is a mountain of evidence.
Some of which has been made public, some of which has not been made public yet.
If it's not been made public, how do you know about it? If it's not been made public, how do you know about it?
And the prosecution is going to lay out its case against Tyler Robinson. And I'm told it's a whopper.
By whom? That whopper might be accurate. It might be the most accurate thing he's ever said. It might be a whopper. It might be a whopper. That might be the most accurate thing he's ever uttered. It might be a whopper. He's told it's a whopper.
I'm told they've got this guy dead to rights.
By whom? Are you telling me the prosecutor is calling up a PR guy from some nonprofit in another state and going, hey, bro, I know everybody's out here. They're questioning this Tyler Robinson thing. But let me tell you something, Bubba. We got this guy dead to rights. We got him dead to rights, Bubba. Now, don't you be saying nothing on them podcasters. Don't you be saying nothing. But it's a whopper. It's a whopper of a case. You can be showed that. You can be showed that. It's a whopper. We got him dead to rights. That's right. That's right. Whopper of a case. Mountain of evidence. Mountain of evidence. Right. Mountain of evidence. Now, just to be sure to tell everybody, we got mountain of evidence. It's a whopper of a case. We got him dead to rights. That's right. You are the PR guy, right? Oh, okay. I got to go, old buddy. Yeah, 10-4.
And meanwhile, you have government officials that are now saying on the record to journalists they are willing to testify on behalf of the defense.
Can I translate what he said here? Because he obviously doesn't understand the legal system. He's a Hollywood dropout. Let me explain what he's saying here. You have government officials who have agreed if they are subpoenaed by the defense, they will not free to French Polynesia. They will actually show up in court and answer the subpoena because that's what normal people do. Our entire court system rests on the ability to subpoena evidence. And if somebody thinks he has evidence, they might send him a subpoena. And if they send him a subpoena, he might answer it. That's what that means in non-Hollywood dropout land. I noticed he didn't major in Photoshop because he did a poor job of it, allegedly, in my opinion.
Ostensibly to get Tyler Robinson off the hook.
Why are you so concerned with who's guilty? Wouldn't you rather just know the answer?
For something that he did.
You don't know he did it. You haven't seen the mountain of evidence. You just trust in the sheriff who called you. You just trust in the sheriff who called you. Mountain of evidence. It's a whopper. Believe that. Oh, gosh. All right. Let me pull this up here. Here is our friend Andrew Kolvet when he's not providing questionable itineraries to third-rate podcasters and Twitterers with no profiles. He's also tweeting on his own account when he's not tweeting scripture verses from Erica's account 2 days before her husband dies. He is tweeting from his own account. And here's what he had to say here recently. Michael Schellenberger interviewed Joe Kent and is reporting that he's willing to testify in the defense of Tyler Robinson. Here's my interview with Schellenberger, posted in full. But let me add this. If Israel, Egyptian planes, or any foreign government killed Charlie, I want to know. Well, you don't sound like it. You sound like you're worried that Joe Kent might testify that those things might have existed and he wasn't allowed to investigate it. That's what it sounds like. Because if he testifies for Tyler Robinson, which we just heard you're terrified of him doing, if he is subpoenaed by the defense and he testifies, the only thing we know he'll say is, there were credible leads that foreign governments were involved, or foreign actors were involved, I think is what he said. Credible leads that foreign actors were involved. When I went to investigate it, I was stopped by the director of the FBI. And you're outraged that he would say such a thing. But you want your cake and eat it too, because you're saying you want to know. Well, you know who could have told you? Joe Kent, the guy you're trashing. That's the guy who could have told you. And you seemed awfully satisfied that he was stopped from investigating foreign actors. But here we are, over 6 months having passed, and there have been zero actionable facts to back up the theory. Yeah, because they weren't allowed to be investigated. They weren't allowed to be investigated, which you seem awfully satisfied of. He went on at one point to say he would be not going to be happy if the death penalty was taken off the table. Why? Oh, I know why. Because if they take the death penalty off the table, he might talk. They'll lose that bargaining chip of holding his life over his head, and he'll be alive. Here's the dirty little secret about these trials. If you have a guy and he's condemned to death, you know when his last appeal is heard? Literally minutes before he dies. Literally minutes. He could be on death row for 35 years. He will have active appeals the entire time. It won't be until the day he dies that the governor of whatever state he's condemned to death in will finally end the process. Up until that moment, he has a bargaining chip. He has to be quiet in order to have the possibility to stay alive. But if you take the death penalty off the table and he gets life in prison without the possibility of parole, there's really no incentive for him once his appeals expire. You get an appeal by right. Once your appeals are done, you might run a habeas appeal up the federal system, but once your appeals are done and the final court has told you no, it's over. There's nothing left for you to do but serve your time. And that's when you lose all motivation to remain quiet. That's when you get the Sirhan problem. When he comes out and says, I don't really remember doing this. It was like I was in a fog and I wasn't even standing in the right place to have done it. Not going to be happy if they take the death penalty off the table. Afraid the truth will taint the jury. You know, they go on and on telling us all the time how we are tainting the jury pool by examining this case. But then they say things like this, which apparently don't taint the jury pool at all. Shortly after Robinson's arrest, the prosecutors released a probable cause affidavit detailing the evidence gathered immediately after Charlie's assassination. You know what the dirty little truth about those are? The jury will never see that. The jury will never see the probable cause affidavit. Meaning, those facts are not bulletproof, to borrow a phrase. Meaning, those facts are just one guy's opinion of his understanding of what's taken place. He's the guy who signs it at the bottom. You'll see a wet signature at the bottom of these probable cause affidavits. He's the guy who signed it. And there's no guarantee that everything in there would survive a judge, cross-examination, witnesses called to rebut it, the jury's deliberation. But they're taking these things as solid gold facts, as if they're interested in the outcome. The evidence presented at that time was overwhelming. It wasn't evidence. It wasn't evidence. Evidence is seen by a jury. This is not evidence. This is why I'm not interested in debating people on this. I'll be happy to have a discussion. I'll be happy for someone to go through the probable cause affidavit or the charging document or the information and say, I believe everything in there. And I'll say, well, have you considered this? Have you considered this? Have you considered this? I think it would be a boring discussion, but I'll be happy to have it. In the months that have followed, we know the investigation has continued. More details will come out in May. Well, maybe not, because the only detail that's come out since then is that the bullet doesn't match the gun and that multiple DNA sets were found on the gun. Now, you guys put up Tyler Robinson's DNA on the gun being definitive proof that Tyler Robinson fired the gun. My question is, what about the other 4, 5, 6 people whose DNA is on the gun? Was that definitive proof they also fired the gun? You telling me there was like a gun orgy up on the Losi Center? They're all up there just all reaching and grabbing and pulling on this gun, and then the trigger goes off, and we don't know who did it. The DNA's all over it. When the assassin has a probable cause hearing, and we are certain there will be even more evidence demonstrating why the state believes Tyler Robinson is the assassination. So they're allowed to say definitively, he did it. There's a mountain of evidence. We're not allowed to say, have you considered this? Have you considered this? Have you considered this? What about this person? What about this person? Where were you? Where was she? We're not allowed to say that. That's tainting the jury pool. That's tainting the jury pool. I wanted to go through the charging document tonight, but I don't know that I'll have time. Maybe I'll do that Wednesday. I do want to point something out, though, because I am fascinated by this topic. Because I think I know what it is. And I just want to draw your attention to it. You guys know TriggerSmart, right? He does a great job. He covers all kinds of stuff. He's covering this something is falling from the sky right now and it's not normal. This is a really cool video. If you've not had a chance to check it out, you should. It just put it up a few hours ago. But he does a really good job. I follow this guy right here on YouTube. I follow the other guy, Space Weather News, that he has featured in this video. I follow him on YouTube. And I also follow them on X, and I read Space Weather News all the time. But let me summarize the discussion here in under 30 seconds. There are a lot of fireballs falling from the sky right now, and nobody knows what they are. And they're not doing what you think they should be doing. They're not blazing through at outer space speed. They're falling slower than that. They look like it to me. I think there's a war going on in space right now. I don't know if it's Israel, if it's the United States, if it's Russia, if it's China. Somebody's shooting satellites out of the sky. That's my opinion. And what we're seeing is the debris making its way into the atmosphere because it's falling from what looks like either low Earth orbit or just outside of low Earth orbit. It's falling slowly. It's not falling fast like a meteor. I mean, we've seen fire. They come in fast like a shooting star. They come real fast. These are just coming in slow. I'm just telling you guys, there's a lot more going on out there than meets the eye. A lot more going on out there than meets the eye. But I'll tell you, I can't believe for a second what I heard tonight. I am so weirded out that a luminary like Charlie Kirk would doubt the government. Andrew just told us when the government presents evidence, it's a mountain. You don't question it. They have their guy. I mean, we know for a fact who was responsible for 9/11, for example. I mean, Guys, the passport was laying on the rubble. Hello? A couple of them. Don't worry about the fact that people came forward and said, that's my passport. How did it get over in New York? No, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. It's irrelevant. Don't worry about the fact that it was used to kick off a war that benefited our greatest ally. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Leave all that alone. Leave all that alone. We know who did it because the government told us. We know who did JFK. We know who did RFK. We know who did MLK. We know for a fact John F. Kennedy Jr.'s plane just malfunctioned and he died while he was getting ready to run for Senate. Yeah, I mean, it's weird that Hillary Clinton took advantage of that, moved to New York and ran for Senate in that place and won. That's a little weird, I'll admit. But we know it was just a plane malfunction. We know all of this, guys. We know the Maui fires were just a weird incident. We know the fires in California were just a weird incident that happened to burn down all the Palisades. It's tough luck, guys. What happens? The government wouldn't lie to us. The government wouldn't manufacture evidence against somebody to set them up. That wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen. You don't have to believe me. There are a lot of podcasters out there who will tell you this. A lot of podcasters will tell you this. Don't worry about it when they get government contracts. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that when they have deals with TPUSA, like Officer Tatum making $250,000 from TPUSA a year, allegedly. Don't worry about that. He's just being honest with you when he tells you that. Don't worry about these alleged contracts. They're not doing it for the money. They're not doing it. Other people might be, but not these guys. No, don't worry about any of that. They're being honest. The government has spoken. The government has spoken. And there's a mountain of evidence coming behind them. A mountain. And you can be sure that it's mountainous. All right, guys, let me get through some of your questions here. Baron, do we know when HK applied, began studies at UVU? Hunter Kozak, I don't know. Does it fit with the Hamptons timeline? The Fort visit and the unblank America stuff was weird. The Frank Turek visit. No, the Frank Turek visit was so weird. I could do a whole show on the Frank Turek visit, and we talked about doing that, but that guy's weird. He weirds me out. I don't know why he wears the safety goggles everywhere. That's weird. That's weird on its own. If you got to wear safety goggles everywhere, that's a level of weird I can't touch. Baron, you sent an email 328 sent me an email regarding Vallely. He retired in Big Fork, 20 minutes from Kalispell. I heard about that. Please look for my email. There's more info. I'm from Montana. Vallely founded Nemo Firearms in Kalispell, which acquired SI Defense in 2011. Nemo is Omen, spelled backwards. Well, you just made me think of Finding Nemo totally differently. Here I was thinking it was about a fish. An orange one. Orange? Thank you for that. I'd say now we know who AK's It Should Have Been You to CO was the true up until CK strayed. EK also said on interview, we have a great team. All seems to be falling into place. Keep up the good work. I will do that. You keep up the good work. You keep up the good work. Baron, I remember back when you said, when you talked about finding a good sidekick. Daisy is super smart, funny, says what she thinks, and has perfect timing. She's gold. I belly laughed listening to her last member show. Love you both. Love you more. How many dogs is too many? One. The answer is two, actually. We have one. It's plenty. You hear her from time to time. Thank you for that. Back in December, my first comment was regarding you and Candace inspiring me to go back to Mass. I haven't missed a Sunday since. Yesterday, my hubby joined, and our teens will be receiving sacraments this time next year. Had to update. Thank you for sharing that, Linda LaBelle. It's Holy Week. We should celebrate. We should celebrate this time of year. This is the time to do that. The bells are coming back. So is the Gloria. It's a great time. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your victories. Please don't associate me with Gary. Oh, I would never do that, Brian. You seem brilliant. Congrats on 250,000 subs. Thank you. My wife Anna and I have been loyal subscribers since early December, and we love everything you're doing. Keep going, Max. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. I am going, Max, sir. I am going, Max. 10 Mimbos dropped right on the crowd. Amazing. Thank you. Baron, what do you guys eat for breakfast? Ugh. I usually eat meat. Like this morning, I had pork tenderloin, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, and broccoli. Some mornings I eat hamburger patties. So my theory on breakfast is the best option is protein and fat. The second best option is water. The worst option, the option you should never go to, is carbohydrates. That's breakfast. Because if you start this early, if you start the insulin, wave early, it's going to be a long day. You're going to be grouchy. You're going to feel bad. Big Fat is the one who pushed breakfast cereal on America. Big Fat. Stole that from Rush Limbaugh, but he was right. Big Fat. Okay, got here early. Good. Please check out episode 86, 1647. EK peddling book on ADSB while you're investigating her in real time is too good to go unnoticed. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're suggesting while I was on the air, I accidentally captured her plane. Episode 86. Just last week, wasn't it? I remember I told you to come back, so I'm going to do it. I don't want to tell you to come back and then not do it. Episode 86. What time did you say? 1647? Let's go back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 46. This is 1637. By nature of the scrubbing, I had a little trouble getting there. Let's see what our commenter is so eager to see. Is a connection going into Provo that day. And it's a connection that, frankly, makes a lot of sense that it would be going into Provo. This is... That's funny. The plane... That's funny. But that's an old flight. That's on September 9th. That's an old flight. But that's funny. Thank you for chiming back in. Since Regency Air and Paradise Jets are separate entities that don't cross over, sounds like Andrew was caught in a lie when he responded that the newly reported supposed manifest itinerary was correct. That's the way I interpreted it. That was my opinion. Mikey could have called Elizabeth first because he knew she'd be with Erica. Some sort of effort not to directly call Erica's phone because EK was actually somewhere other than where she claimed to have been. I don't know that that's why. I'll just leave it at that for now. I'm not sure that's why he called her. I think I have a theory on why he called her first. And I'm not sure that's it. I'll give you more on that later. I promise. I'm not going to leave you hanging forever. Like you guys are completely monstrous, pretending you're on the side of morality. Candace Owens, go Max, Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Candace was on fire today. She inspired me. 45th anniversary of Reagan termination attempt. Is that today? That means it's the 45th anniversary of Indiana University winning the national championship in 1981. Because that took place that very night. They beat North Carolina at the Philadelphia Spectrum. I know it's not really American history, but in my family it is. In my family it is. There was a lot of question whether the game would go on that night, and they did eventually go on, and Indiana was victorious and won its fourth national championship in basketball. But we're not talking about basketball. We're talking about Reagan's termination attempt. Yeah, that was also an inside job, by the way. We covered that, I think, during an opening one time, or did I do a segment on that? We covered that at one time. That also was a scam. It's likely that 600 of the 800 Paramount viewers last night were just Baron subscribers who wanted to report back. Go Max Maestro Baron. One of them was me. I had him pulled up over here. I had him pulled up on monitor 3. I had to know. Gary. Yeah, thank you for that, by the way. Very generous donation. Thank you. Second time super chat. First time being surprised by a Google review. Brian Harpole did a review of my dealership opening on regular folk doing their job. Ironic. I'll email it to you if you'd like. Crisis King, please do. Please do. Put Brian Harpole review in the subject line if you would, please. Car deals with Carlos. I got you. Here's a small tip for entertaining me on my birthday. You got me beat by 5 years in a few months, and I appreciate your wisdom, good sir. Crisis King. Crisis King, indeed. Strong love. Well, that's a fun name. Wow. Happy birthday to you. I hope it's all you hoped it would be. Whitney Webb on Jimmy Dore said she is suspicious of Joe Kent being a psyop. I watched that. I like Jimmy Dore. That is being set up as a replacement for Vance, and he is actually a neocon. Do you have any thoughts on that? Thank you. I don't. It was the first time I'd heard that. I hadn't really considered it. Whitney's brilliant, so it doesn't surprise me that she's thought of it. And if you listen to her carefully, she said she hadn't completely fleshed it out and hadn't completely organized her ideas, but that was just something rattling around in her head, and I'd like to hear more about it. I hope she does write about it soon. Will we see EK in blackface and doing Jewish game? No. Congrats on 250,000, Baron. Your hard work and passion for this great country, the great Charlie Kirk, and the greatest gift of all, Jesus Christ, is inspiring. I can't wait to see you grow and inspire so many more. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Very kind of you. Sorry I'm late. Had to rewatch Baron Coleman Whole Please music video to get amped for the show. Fleet, that is so great. Fleet is phenomenal, by the way. I need to catch up with her. Someone gave me a way to contact her, and I need to catch up with her. Hopkinson AZ building could have been the command post for the operation. What could have been? CO reported that TP had been trying something new and was live streaming the UVU event. This where they were live streaming? Could be. I don't know. He said the ops back in Virginia. I mean, in Arizona, excuse me. So that would be a place where allegedly at least one op was huddled up. Hey, B, had to catch your Bundy opening statement after live. Fun detail. Bundy went to UVU. Last college he attended, 73-74. Killings listed between 74-79. Weird coincidence. Go Max. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Did they have the whole, like, deep state program there at the time? Does he get Ted Kaczynski'd? But Baron, my BFF and I call you dad and Candace mom. We love our podcast parents. Proud to be part of this high IQ outfit. Stay safe. Christ is King indeed. Thank you. Baron, 250,000. You realize that it's more than 4 football stadiums. Congrats, brother. Wow. When you put it that way, that seems like a lot. One of my favorite hoodies. Oh, thank you. One of my favorites. It's very comfortable, very soft material on this one. And it hangs, though. It shows a lot of T-shirt. Keep pulling on it. There we go. Thank you for that. Vader. Non-related comment. I'm no internet sleuth, but I sent a brief email to you. Has anyone done any deep dives on similarities to John Benet Ramsey and Einstein, Israel? The note about the country, his business it serves. I have not. One may be out there. Have you YouTubed it? Someone may have done it. First super chat here, Baron, loving your podcast and your delivery. I noticed there's a blank photo behind you on the wall, looking like a great spot for a Charlie Kirk portrait. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. I'm leaving it blank. That used to be the Donald. DJT is gone after this excursion in the Middle East, and it'll remain blank in protest for some time. I Jesusly love you, Bayron C. and Daisy. Wow. That's a lot. Thank you. To the max. Yes, we're doing. Concerned Candace keeps promoting the erasure of our founding by referencing one book, The Secret Founding of America by Nicholas Hager. Hager's British intelligence worked for them his whole career. I have that book. You know, a relative of mine is in that book in chapter 2. Believe it or not. I had nothing to do with it. It was in the 1600s. But there's a story in chapter 2, I believe, that where they traded 2 English kids for 2 Indian kids, and they kind of raised them for a couple of years so they would learn the language and the culture, and then they could go back to their respective communities and communicate. And one of those was a relative of mine on my grandmother's side. It's absolutely insane that EK forgave the man that murdered her husband, but is causing an uproar about the Drewski skit. You didn't look guilty before. You did, by the way. You do now. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. I don't want to attribute to her things she's not doing, though. I don't think she's responded. I think there's a lot of fake responses that look like her responses, but if you go to her internet feeds, Instagram, Twitter, there's no response. And I don't know why people would do that except for clicks, but it's confusing people. Questions? Why are the Democrats so silent on TPUSA? Why are they not investigating CK case? They're not. They may not be investigating the CK case, but they are not silent on TPUSA. I've seen some behind the scenes footage of what they're doing. Baron, you got to check out The Chosen. Dallas Jenkins and Jonathan Rumi made it into a straight up masterpiece. I watched all 5 seasons, 5x over already. I don't even have time to check the mail. Like, I do not have time to watch The Chosen, but I hear it's great. My sister loved it. Hey, Baron, I have 6 kids too. I have 8, but I also have 6. I just have 2 scragglers. One of my sons went to VCOM Auburn. Oh, congratulations. And War Eagle. Graduated last year doing residency in Las Vegas. Happy National Doctor Day. Yeah, they were very proud of that medical school when they got it. Auburn was. Baron, tell the newbies why you say things twice. Do I have to explain that? People don't always listen the first time. You should read my email inbox. Twice is not enough. I should say things 50 times. I think people passively listen and then they don't hear stuff and then they email me things I just said. Hello, Baron. Your coughing concerns me. Don't let it. I'm 46 years into this. I would like to share why without detailing too much here. What is the best way to message you? As a Catholic, I pray for you via intercession of our blessed Mama Mary. Happy Holy Week. Happy Holy Week to you. No need to be concerned. I've coughed for 46 years. This is just your humble host sounding like himself. I did tell my sister one time because before I found out that eggs were causing me a real issue, my lungs were really, really bad. This was a couple, 3 years ago. And I told her, I said, I've come face to face with how I'm going to die. I'm going to drown and it's going to be miserable. But then when I stopped eating eggs, it's just this annoying cough. I don't feel like I'm drowning all the time. Your best opening statement today. Well, thank you. Thank you. Certainly was the most meaningful one I've done. Rob McCoy should be listening to your opening. Perhaps he would learn something spot on from a former dispensationalist. Praise Jesus. I think Rob probably knows, if I had to guess. We're all waiting on you to accept Andrew Wilson's request and announce you will be doing the discussion with him. Surely you won't back out. I've not accepted. I can't back out. Looking forward to watching the Battle of Wits. It's not about backing out. And I explained in the show. I don't know if you were still watching. I don't understand the purpose of trying to debate something where there are so many unknown facts right now. This is an investigation. You don't investigate. No, this fact is true. No, that fact is true. No, that's not true. No, this is true. This is true. No, that's not true. That's not a debate. That's an annoying conversation. If he would like to sit here and read the charging documents and say, this is what the state alleged, what do you say about it? But I mean, I can pull him up and do that. I'm not sure. It's like saying I want to debate who's going to win the football game next year. We don't know. Or who won the football game next year. Who's got the better chance. Well, I don't listen to that stuff. It's nonsensical. You're just arguing over nothing. But I'll be happy to talk to him. Happy Holy Week. Love that opening statement. Thank you for sharing. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Thank you. But Bear, the opening statement was on point and so eloquently relayed. The story that is everything, yet seems to be forgotten. Thank you, Daisy, Sis, the entire group of podcasters that are simply telling the truth. Christ is King indeed. You know what bothers me about the other side of this discussion? I don't understand why they're so angry. Like when the Kennedy thing comes up, Charlie Kirk was very skeptical of the Kennedy government narrative. No one, I mean, I sort of panned it tonight, but no one accused him of being evil or demonic or stupid or you know, a lunatic or anything like that. He just had valid questions about facts that didn't seem to fit the government narrative or things that he believes are facts that didn't seem to fit the government narrative. Books have been written on this. People have talked about it for now 6 decades, 6.5 decades. Why does Charlie Kirk have everyone all stirred up? Why would you have a guy? How much did he pay? He paid $10. And he paid, I think, 10 or 20 the other night. Why would you have a guy pay me $30, 20 or $30 to come in here and give me a hard time based? I mean, you can pay me as much as you want. That's fine. Make it 100, make it 200, make it 500. But why would you have someone come in and pay money to give me a hard time because I'm not buying the government narrative? What is your interest? What is your interest? What is the interest of anybody? It should be the truth. The more it's investigated, the more we find the truth. And I don't understand why anybody would be opposed to that. Christ is king indeed. Absolutely love you, Baron. I would love to see your dog on the screen one day. She's been on screen twice, and let me tell you how annoying she was, Crystal. For 3 days, she walked around and said she was famous. I said, Granddad, you know I'm famous. I get it. Stop telling me that. She'd come in the room at night, get in her cage. You look up at me. You know I'm famous, right? Make me sleep in a cage. I'm famous. Can't do that to someone who's famous. I'm like, enough. So I'm afraid if I put it on screen too much, the big head just gets bigger. And I don't know if I can handle that. I rescue dogs. They're one of those beautiful gifts from God. That's why he named them dog. Gary, you need a life. But Baron, shout out for not only doing your show last night, but Gary's too. Thanks for this high IQ outfit. P.S. Painting my room your hoodie color. Oh, it'd be great. You look great. I'll blend right in. Yeah, put me up on the wall. You won't even see me. Baron, you're so much fun to listen to. Your high IQ outfit feels like home to this high IQ conspiracy realist, excuse me. In my opinion, the best opening statement ever. Thank you. You and Candace are over the target. I tend to think so, but other people disagree, and I'm eager to hear I wish they would do investigations, though. Like, look into Tyler Robinson. Tell me all about him. I have. Look into Lance Twiggs. Tell me all about him. I have. You know, don't just rely on feed me, government. Investigate. If you're going to complain you don't like my investigation, do an investigation. Don't just say the government said nuh-uh. The government said nuh-uh. The government said nuh-uh. Brandon, so proud of you going max for Jesus in that truth-filled opening. Thank you for sharing the gospel. The world needs it more than ever because Christ is king. Well, it is Holy Week. I'm not a big proselytizer, but I did want to take the opportunity on Holy Monday when I don't want to say celebrate. Well, maybe celebrate the destruction of the temple to point out why it happened. Christ is king indeed. Has anyone investigated Tyler Robinson's defense team? Can we trust him? Long-time listener, first-time caller. People have, and there's some weirdness there, to be honest with you. There's one of the guys, I think, named Bert, may or may not be a cousin of the Farnsworth. I think we'll show that maybe Wednesday. We've got that, or Daisy did. I didn't do it. I didn't have anything to do with it. Daisy put together a family tree of Bert and shows the connection. So I think we'll show that Wednesday. We talked about doing it tonight, but I think we'll push it to Wednesday. So that's weird. There's another guy on there named Ballard. I don't know if he's related to Tim Ballard. Tim Ballard's from Utah. This guy's from Utah. So is there a connection there? We don't know. As far as the job they're doing, we haven't seen a lot, but it's very early. We haven't even had a preliminary hearing. And sounds like, the news report tonight sounded like they're doing a pretty bang up job. We'll see how that plays out. Fire opening statement and needed to be said. More, please. God bless. Christ is king. Thank you. Christ is king indeed. Clapping like seals. I said that, didn't I? Awesome opening statement. Thank you. As an addendum, the money changers in the temple were Jews. Jesus kicked them out, not quite blessing them. So Jesus did that. Extrapolate. Well, they were the only ones allowed in there. So. I love that you tell everyone to have babies. It's very sad for me, though. Cervical cancer at 35 took away that from me. Been in a dark place. I'm sorry to hear that. It's a tremendous struggle, I'm sure. And I'm thankful you're supportive of other people, though. You don't let the, frustration, take it out on other people, try to deprive them of that. So I do tell everyone that. And thank you. Saw a pic of cleaned up Coleman couple for 250,000 subs. That's not a couple. That was my sister. Not a members. I don't know what the missus looked like. You compliment each other well. Congrats on both. Yeah, that's my sister. I'll show you the picture. Excuse me. Let me see if I can find her here real quick on Facebook. There she. Oh, no, that's not me, though. My goodness. Yeah, that's us. Yeah, this was at my niece's wedding. Let's see if I can make it a little bigger. The only thing that will disappoint people is I don't have my dress vans on. I have regular shoes on. Let's see if I can. There we go. Cover some of her private details here. Yeah, so this is not my wife. And that is my sister. And I'll pull this down so you can see those are not dress vans. Those are just regular shoes. Yeah, that's your humble host and his lifelong bestie. My sister out there killing it. But thank you. Yeah, thank you. My 9-year-old son Nolan wants to know if you will dive into the JFK murder once you saw the CK murder. Crisis King indeed. Man, there have been so many books written on that. There have been so many movies made, so many documentaries, videos. I could point you to Roger Stone's book. I think is excellent, by the way. If you've not read it, worth the read. There's a lot of really good stuff out there. I don't know what I would do. Maybe I'll do an opening one day on it. I don't want to do a whole show on it. Warriors inside. Just kidding. GBC. Christ is King. I don't know what it means. It must be really inside. Warriors. I don't know what it means. Christ is King indeed. First thing to do when watching the show, click the like. Oh, yeah, that's right. Click the like, click the subscribe, click the notifications. Where are we on likes? Yeah, we're okay. We could do worse. We've done worse. But yeah, click like, click subscribe. We'll have a good time. Look how fruitful your Candace episode was. Had you ever asked number one question for Turning Point? She would have never told the tarmac hug story. You may not have reanalyzed Planes on 910, the power of intuition, collaboration, God's plan. That's a good point. I hadn't considered that. She told that story the first time when I was on the air with her. I had forgotten all about that. Thank you for bringing that up. Real Joe of Earth, not Venus, not Mars. Tennessee folks making touchdowns. Go Candace and Barron. See you in the AM, Coach. Fleet, have at it. God bless y'all. Yeah, Coach had a stellar show today, but he did not have a chance to join in. It was fun. Brandon Company. Brandon Candace, you're doing God's work, or Brandon Company. I'm not sure which. My friends, congrats on 250,000 subscribers. It's been a pleasure to watch you in this high IQ outfit grow. Collab with Zach Costello ASAP. Zach will be on the member show next Friday. He's already scheduled. I don't know if it'll be at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock Central. We're up in the air on that part of it. But Zach will be on the member show next Friday. So if you like Zach and you're not a member, you've got like 10 days to subscribe. And then you'll be able to catch it live. I like Zach a lot. I think he's got a very bright future in broadcasting. Consider sharing member vids post live for non-members. I should do that. I should go back and undo some of them or make them. It's a good point. Maybe I'll put them on the Clips channel. That'll drive people over there. If you're not a member of the Clips channel, by the way, I am putting my openings up there, and over time, I will be adding more to the Clips channel. It's at Baron Coleman Clips on YouTube. You can go over there and check it out. And maybe I'll put them over there. Time out, high IQ fam. Baron has to educate the SEALs. They're out there clapping. When Gary said to Zach, there's no evidence that anyone else could have taken a shot, he needs to watch your episode 66 dispatch calls. Qureshi going hospital to hospital looking for the victim, or Nate Henderson's striking resemblance to the stairwell pick. Oh, well, he doesn't even do that. All he has to do is read the charging document. Read the probable cause affidavit. Tyler Robinson, who they believe is Tyler Robinson, enters campus at 11:50, 11:51, something like that. He goes to the north side of the Losi Center. He then disappears. He reappears and goes up the stairwell. He then disappears for 8 minutes. Then you see a figure run out and take the prone position, lie down, allegedly take a shot, scamper across the roof, scale the roof like Spider-Man, and you'll notice in the charging document, it says when he walked up to the Losi Center, he had a distinctive gait. When he ran off the Losi Center, it said he did not have a distinctive gait. If I'm a defense lawyer, I'm exploiting that. Very well might have been Tyler Robinson walking up to the Losi Center. Very well might have been. How do you know it wasn't somebody else in there working with him? Who then maybe he brought the gun to the scene. Let's just assume he brought the gun. Let's just assume he brought the gun. Where did he go when he disappeared? Who else was around? What were they wearing? Could he have taken his clothes off, given his clothes to someone else, taken their clothes, put them on, left out a different door? That guy then goes and lies down in the prone position. Maybe he's shot. Let's just assume he's shot. Takes the shot, scampers off, and escapes. If I'm the defense lawyer and all you have is a blurry little guy, you're telling me beyond reasonable doubt you know that was him, the blurry little guy that's this big on the screen, the blurry little guy this big. You know that was him? You're confident? Even though his gait completely changed while he was on the roof? His gait completely changed when he ran off the roof? I mean, I would stipulate to the gunshot almost at that point. Mountain of evidence. Irrefutable case. We sure about that? And there's a lot for defense lawyers to work with in the charging documents. I've not seen the rest of the evidence. And I had this conversation with Zach, I think today. Zach Costello on the phone. I will be the very first person. If they come up with irrefutable, beyond reasonable doubt evidence, Tyler Robinson planned this thing alone, took a shot, killed Charlie Kirk, scampered off the roof, hid the gun in a towel by a chicken coop, escaped across town, was seen 15 minutes later at a DVD store or something, went to Dairy Queen, milled around with a McFlurry or whatever they sell at Dairy Queen. I'll be the very first person to get on here and say, you know what, guys? We did a lot of investigating. I still don't know who all was involved, but I know he was. And he was properly convicted. I'll be the very first person. But if I'm a defense lawyer, I'm salivating of the fact that they lost sight of my guy. And when he reappeared, they couldn't tell who he was. Salivating at that. Is there anybody in the audience who can say definitively beyond a reasonable doubt they would know that's him if that's all they have? No. Nobody. Especially with 7 different sets of DNA on the gun, you can't know. You can't know. Low budget podcasters. Now we know where Joe is. Hey, congrats on the 250. Thank you. Thank you. I missed it. Why would Barron be debating Andrew Wilson on what topics? Roll that beautiful bean footage. You have not missed much. I've not agreed to any debates. I'm not sure what the debate is. I don't think this is ripe for debate. I told Zach Costello as much. With a debate, both people are trying to prove something. I'm not trying to prove anything. It's not my job to prove someone else took a shot. It's not my job to prove how he died. It's your job to prove he took a shot and it was fatal and only he could have taken it. That's not much of a debate. Doesn't matter where Erica was. It doesn't matter where Andrew was. It doesn't matter. So there's not much to debate. Not much to debate. Thank you. Loved your opening statement on the new covenant. Thank you, Baron. Perfectly said. And during Holy Week. It was by design during Holy Week. God bless you, Daisy, Sis, and fam. Awesome show last night, too. Christ is King. Christ is King, indeed. Thank you. Did you know Good Friday and Resurrection Sunday are scheduled to be on the same calendar day this year as when the crucifixion happened? Thankful for the cross. There are a lot of people that say that. When EK met with CO and they called EK's lawyer, was that lawyer under any obligation, legal or otherwise, to tell the truth? No. No, he was not. Up in his groin, I'm going through some stuff, and I appreciate you making me laugh. Love learning about Catholic beliefs. Christ is King. Chris is King. We're back to Chris. I don't know who this Chris guy is, but I got to know. I got to know who Chris is. A lot of people think he's the king. Thanks for all your hard work. Thank you. I appreciate that. Christ is king indeed. Just pondering on how far you've come. Remember when the bookshelf was empty and you wore the earmuffs? Oh, man, you were here early. So the reason these are even here is to kill sound. This is a like glass back here. It's not really. But I was getting, so it was like my sound was bouncing off of this and into this glass and back into the microphone. And I was hearing it because I keep my headphones really, really loud. But don't cheese on those Bayer Dynamic DT990s. Those are good headphones. I saw Jack Posobiec wearing a set the other day. Those are great headphones. I've had those for, that set of headphones is 12 years old and they sound brilliant. That's a great headphone. I like these Shure a little better. They're more comfortable to wear than having something hot on your head for 3 or 4 straight hours. The DT990s are fine if you're taking them on and off or you're just wearing them for 20 minutes at a time. They get hot over time. But yeah, that's why these books are here, because as I started making more and more improvements. So if you listen to the early shows, you'll hear I don't think it sounds nearly as good. It's because I've tightened a lot of the room audio up since then. Congrats on the 250. Been watching you for months now and finally paid for a membership today. Keep doing what you're doing. You're so good at presenting the facts. Go Max. I'm doing my best here. You know, the person said I was coughing and now I'm paranoid about it. Now I'm coughing more. We all see right through your intentions, Rage Bronson. I'm not attributing any ill will towards him. I just don't understand the desire to see a debate that is not ripe. Maybe after the preliminary hearing and we see some actual evidence, maybe it would be ripe for debate. And I'll be open to that. But short of that, I mean, an interview, a discussion, I'm open to that. Happy to have him on the member show and we'll chat our way through it. I don't really do interviews on the main show, but happy to do it on a member show. But again, if I'm going to insist that we follow sort of a rule, which is your job is to make the claim. You're claiming Tyler Robinson alone planned and executed Charlie Kirk. Make your case. I will listen to it, give you 15 minutes, 20 minutes if you need to. Just talk, make the case. And then I will ask questions about it. Why do you think this? What do you mean by that? Maybe we'll all learn something. It might be a genuine discussion. But the idea that we go back and forth over nitpicky points about, well, you said Erica was here and it's not relevant. Not relevant to the charging document. AK said he was recording the CK show at the Bitcoin Mobile Studios in Phoenix on night 10. So maybe he was in Phoenix with a filter on and not Santa Barbara. I think he calls his house the Bitcoin Mobile Studio as well. Thank you, Karen. Or Karinia. Curious video on EK and Dark Hat, shirt, pants, ranting at staff for not setting up table. Question, who was Lindsey Graham dining with on his trip at Disney? Dark hat, clothes, blonde hair, down the back. I don't know. I mean, I think your question is speculating it could have been Erica, and I can't say that. I have no idea. Why is Lindsey Graham at Disney? He's a creep. Like a total creep. Like, would you let that guy around your kids? Alone? Do you think we'll ever see a day where these truths are exposed to the world and there's real accountability to those involved? Charlie's legacy of faith and hope sure deserves it. Go Max, Christ is King. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, that's my hope. And now I'm concerned about my... Thanks. Thank you for this wonderful opening statement. This is now the top of my all-time favorites list of your opening statements. Happy 250,000. Thank you. You still think Rob McCoy is responsible for what happened to Charlie Kirk like you said months ago, or have you changed your mind? Depends on what you mean by responsible. Again, I appreciate your donations, Rage. I think it depends on what you mean by responsible. Do I think he pulled the trigger or caused something to explode under Charlie's shirt? No. But do I think he shares in the responsibility of the broader reasons why Charlie Kirk is no longer with us? In my opinion, yeah. Yeah, I do. It's just an opinion. Just an opinion. But yeah, maybe. Baron, you're a savage, handing their arses back to them. Yeah, they're now paying to challenge me, which is fine. Also, has anyone looked into the man seen in the window of the Egyptian plane flying in or out of Utah 910? He looked familiar. So that man was flying in August from I think Provo to Wilmington, if I'm not mistaken. That was August that picture was captured. I have not looked into him anymore because I don't know who he is. And I don't know how I would find him. He's referencing an old episode, Rage, if you want to go back and look. You can pay me to ask my opinion on him. I'll be happy to share it with you. Only Rage has to pay, though. Everybody else can just ask. Accidentally ended up on EK's wiki page. Under personal, there's a quote from her saying she demanded and then he looked like he died happy with a Mona Lisa-like half smile. I feel they've traded God's riches for earthly ones. Oh, an old Faustian bargain, you suggest. You know, they offered Jesus that same thing. Take you to the top of the cliff and look out. All this can be yours. Give me your soul. Some people took it. Some people take that bargain. And some people admit they took the bargain. Go look at some of the Hollywood people who have admitted they sold their souls for success. They exist. How long do FAA complaints take to resolve? We'll find out. I don't know the answer to that. Every episode I have this image of TP employees wringing their hands and sweating. The amount of verifiable lies and obfuscation from them is wild, yet the list of lies grows. Allegedly. Please, we do not need info repeated. We get it. You talking to me? No, you do. I promise. Maybe not you, but don't say we, because a lot of people need it repeated. Baron, it's my 30th birthday. I turned 30 on the 30th. Dad advice, because my dad sucks. Well, that was you talking, not me. Been with my boyfriend for 6 years, no ring. What would you tell your daughter? Well. You want my honest opinion on this? Oh, gosh. Gosh, this is tough. I don't know your situation. This is not marital advice. This is just what I would tell my daughter. He's got 2 years from the day you meet him, or he doesn't want to marry you. That's what I would tell my daughter. And I know there's 1,000 people watching right now that say, oh, we've dated for 9 years. We have the greatest marriage. We've been married 30 years and have 7 kids. I get it. It happens. I would tell my daughter, you meet a guy and start dating him, clock starts running. You got 24 months. You either go or you get off the pot. That's me. And I would tell her, if she came to me after 6 years and said, what do I say, Dad? I would say, go tell him he's got 90 days. Start shopping for a ring. Because in 91 days, I'll either have a ring on my finger or I will be on the market looking for someone else. That's what I would tell my daughter. That's not my advice to you. I don't know your situation. That might be tough love, but it's what I would say. You asked me. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to lie to you people. Gary and others say they know TR is guilty. All confirms there's tons of unseen evidence. If true, why do they just know? Why do just they know? Yeah. Almost like they have an interest. One of my main sticking points in this is the photos of CK's arms. No explanation. Do you expect them to be submitted as evidence? I don't know the defense theory. I would hope so. I mean, I wouldn't be conceding a gunshot. It's up to the prosecution to prove every single element beyond a reasonable doubt. Every element. And that includes the manner of death. And I would force them. I would force them to prove the gunshot. And I would raise a lot of alternatives of things that could have killed him. I'm a high school librarian in North Alabama. What would it take to get you, Daisy, to talk to them about research, masterclass level? I don't know. I don't know what I would say to him. You got to be curious. That's what I would say to him. Yeah, why don't you tell him? Say, develop some curiosity. Find something you're very curious about and go find a bunch of stuff about it. And then come back and tell me. Truth will come out. I believe so. Thank you, Baron, for your high IQ outfit. Thank you. I have damning evidence in regards to Charlie's plane. I haven't seen here or on CO. How can I get it to you? Love you, Baron. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Email it to me. Just say damning evidence. Charlie's plane in the subject line. I'll be happy to take a look at it. realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. Don't email any other email address. They all get blocked. realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. Damning evidence, Charlie's plane, and I'll go look for it. Every time I see Erica's white pantsuit, I think of Kelly from The Office wearing white to a wedding and saying she wore it because of an emergency, because she looks really good in white. Makes me think of Erica every time. Yeah, except Kelly did look good in white. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Elizabeth Matheson, 6032. Baron, love when you go bad cop. Now that distribution is worked out, would you be interested in some designs I made? I design for other local family friends frequently. Things like spacing and fonts are important. You can send it to me. realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. Send designs in the subject line. We'll look for it. You know who needs to get off the porch? Can't run with the big dogs. Charter flights don't use TSA. Itinerary has TSA link. They hired their own screening team. This is my little experience with working charter flights. Good catch. Good catch. Maybe this one does. I don't know. I'm only commenting on things I know, but that's a good catch. Just reading, there may be a 6-month delay in trial because the bullet from the autopsy came back not matching TR's gun. I mean, duh. But not thrilled about the delay. I'm not either, frankly, but I'm ready to get going. Raised Catholic, lost faith at 9 when dad got cancer, lost him 2.5 years ago after caring for him at home. Most humbling experience of my life. Now 38, got my first Bible, trying to find out where he is. Oh, that's great. Keep searching. Keep searching. I'm sorry to hear about your loss, but knock and he'll answer. Matthew 7:7. Oops, wrong YouTube account. Happy birthday, Nonyak. Oh, happy birthday. Currently reading Innocence of Oswald by Gary Fannin. My mom was his dentist. There's so many connections between JFK and CK. It's wild. Yeah, it's almost like there's a blueprint. Almost. And that's the clip. To me. I don't know which one you're talking about. I'll be eager to see it. I'll be eager to see it. Thank you. Adfleet does great work. Congrats on 250. Been watching since December. Thanks to a comment in Catholic Women's Facebook group. Love this high IQ outfit, your show. Daisy, the members community. Have a blessed Holy Week. We're reaching people through Facebook now? Edge. How can we humbly tell AK he doesn't know who he's up against and he's out of his league? So difficult to be humble when we're being insulted for truth. Give us a chance. We'll trash you. I just can't see how that itinerary is real. I can't see it. I mean, I leave open a sliver of a possibility that there's something went wrong. I'll let the FAA weigh in and tell me whether they believe it's real. I'm not going to trust anything Andrew puts out after that. I don't care what he puts out. We're going to let government tell me if that's real. But Baron, I'm sorry you have to explain once again the logic of your brilliant research to the Joes of this high IQ outfit. When will they ever learn? Oh, when will they ever learn? I don't know, Gary. I don't know. Thank you, Lev. I choose to believe that's Mark Levin. Lev. Mark Levin, welcome to the program. Baron, please do live, succinct 1-hour videos. No. I do live, succinct 1-hour videos. I think I started taking questions at like 1:30 mark. That's very succinct. It's very live. If you don't want to watch the Q&A, don't. If you don't want to watch the opening, don't. The beautiful thing about YouTube is no one forces you to watch. Was this guy CO mentioned was on the plane with EK in Chile at the same time EK was? I don't know. I don't know how we would find that out. I have that information, though, that she had. Let me look it up. Let me pull this real quick. Hold, please. I can't remember his name right now. Hold, please. Hold, please. Hold, please. Here we go. All right. His name was Derek Niekirk. Derek Lewis Niekirk. Jonathan Barcelo, Erica Kirk, Catherine LaCastro, Derek Niekirk. from Scottsdale to Long Beach. Yeah, this is such an interesting situation here because this was a day when Charlie was taking a tremendous amount of heat. A tremendous amount of heat. Who was the pilot? Doesn't say. And I just worry that I just worry they were up to no good. Hold on, I'm looking for something else here. Hang on. Okay, that was it. I can't think of anything else they'd be doing in Long Beach. Maybe they're just shopping. Who knows? I was in Gary's chat and defended you last night. He read it, called me names. It was crazy. For like 5 minutes, it was a doo-doo on Jamie party in the chat. The co-host needed a shot of whiskey. According to Gary, I'm a Joe. 241 timestamp. I'll take your word for it, Jamie. That's what happens. I warned you guys. Don't mess with these people. There's no reason. No reason. You know how we think of Rage right now when he comes in, he thinks he's cute, and he they think the same thing of you. So don't do it. Don't do it. No reason. But thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. How come Dan Flood hasn't done any hand signals the whole time you were playing the clip? Because Charlie lived through the clip. Yeah, I mean, is that the point you're making? The military guy with EK to Long Beach was so sinister looking when in front passenger seat and SUV looking back at EK and SS. Chills every time I see it. I don't think he was in the passenger. Maybe he was. I don't know. Maybe it was. I'll go back and look at it. 1 hour shows. Try Gary. This is a high IQ outfit. Amen. Go Max. Thank you. Thank you. Do you think those involved have feelings of remorse, guilt when alone in their own thoughts? I do. I do. I don't know if Andrew does, but I think others do. I have to believe Dan Flood, in my opinion, if he was involved, I have to believe he feels really bad about it. Crazy to think they're also okay with it being behind closed doors. And I'm not accusing Dan Flood. I'm just saying, in my opinion, the arm signal was just something, a bridge I can't cross until I get an explanation. And then I've not been provided one. The only thing I've been told is my eyes don't see what they keep seeing in every piece of footage I watch. Step forward, do something completely inexplicable about the time a bang happens and Charlie goes down. My eyes saw that. Your eyes saw that. Everyone's eyes saw it. Everyone's eyes saw it. And I have to believe he knows. I worry for him almost like I do for Andrew, but differently, because I think Andrew's unconscionable based on his actions. But notice Dan Flood's have not been... We haven't seen Dan Flood on podcasts saying ridiculous things. Just received a voicemail from TP Action for a local SRP utility election in AZ. TPA's site shows many endorsements. Make me wonder how intertwined Turning Point is in everything. Imagine that, a local election for a local utility. You should look into, Uncle Jibby, whether Tyler Boyer's family has any connection to that land. You should look into that. I don't know the answer to that. Could Gary, aka et cetera, all be implicated in cover-up? I don't want to say Gary. I don't think he's smart enough to be in a cover-up, but I think Andrew could be. He seems pretty sharp. Fairly new here. Love your content, especially love your faith in Jesus. I pray for your health and safety. Thank you. Uncle Baron, can you update us on Billy and Brandy? I have no update. I haven't talked to them in a long time. They haven't posted in a month, and are they doing okay? I assume they are. I see Billy and Brandy posting on X. I just haven't talked to them. I don't know anything about them. I mean, I liked their work when they were doing it, but they don't appear to be doing it anymore. So I don't know why. Thank you for all your hard work. Been watching since the Trends days. Enjoying your show. Thank you. Yeah, you ought to just ask them. Say, what's up? We'd love to see a show. See what they say. Congrats on 250 last night. I'm grateful you're on our side with regard to CK. Ordered my t-shirt and 15-ounce mugs. Blessings to you this Easter week. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Erica, complicit. What? No. Say it ain't Sojo. Yeah, Ivan. Looks at Knuckles to see if there's a chubby kid wanting to get out. Glances at Mirror. He got out. Keep up the great work, man. Well, Boiler's Mac, I just call it like I see it. Call it like I see it. Hi from Scotland. Scotland. Can we discuss the limo? CO showed new pics, and there was a lot of blood on the seats. That wasn't a limo. That was an SUV. Why was nobody putting pressure on the wound? They said they were. Also, what are your thoughts on the open limo door? It was an SUV. I've shared my thoughts on this, and I'm not sure what to make of the open SUV door, but the door, I believe, was closed when it drove off. I think there's video evidence of it. I could be mistaken. Maybe I'm seeing it wrong, but there's a view. I'm not sure even where to go find it. I've seen it. It's a view looking like kind of from back, like way back in the back of the crowd, and it's looking through a window, and you can see the door, and it looks like it closes as it pulls off. Why was LBJ chosen as JFK's VP? I've never really looked into that. That's a good question. Grassy Knoll, that's hilarious. Hilarious. I got it. Hilarious. Got it. Yeah. Thank you. I'll be here all week. Tip your host, and don't forget to like. Yeah, don't forget to like the show, and more comedy like that coming up. You're a daisy if you do. Obviously, they don't have a daisy because you are seriously making them look dumb. Love your opening. Jesus is king. Jesus is king indeed. Thank you, Julie. And the Academy Award goes to Baron Coleman. Why? Was I acting? Yeah. Einstein Kushner 28. Yeah. Apparently still alive. I saw TriggerSmart do a video on that the other day. What's it called? Palm Beach Pat or something? Palm Beach Pete? The GOAT of opening statements and the most iconic one. Yes. Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Best podcast ever. I want to send this to everyone I know, but they roll their eyes at me whenever I mention CK's assassination. This is a high IQ outfit. Go Max. Thank you. Thank you for wanting to share the love. Baron, your sarcasm tonight is priceless. So, I was sarcastic? So high IQ. Was I? Somebody had to speak the truth. Charlie was courageous. I'm glad to see Charlie's repentance in real time. He changed his mind and heart. Yeah, that's what we all should do when we're confronted with better evidence. We should change our mind. You give me better evidence, I will change my mind. I will be the first one to change my mind. Interesting how CK speaks of his own demise. Brilliant. Yeah. Thank you. See you channeling your inner Tim Dillon. Great comparison. Thank you. I like Tim Dillon. He's funny. Candace and Baron are wearing the invisible battle bun today. Yes, she didn't even give me her scrunchie. I literally stopped eating my meal to send you the super chat and tell you that this episode is a masterpiece, a sheer masterpiece. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Imagine what Ben's eyebrows will look like when he's 70. He used to tame them. Like, you look at Ben from just a couple years ago, those things were fine. They've just gotten out of control. His piano got stolen. The piano where he kept his eyebrow trimmers. It's stolen. I'm still tickled 24 hours later by Watch Beaches. That was real advice. That was real advice. I wasn't playing around. Sorry if you've already discussed this coming in late. Will you catch up? My friend thinks USA should be Israel first because the Bible says to take care of them because of Jesus. Why is that wrong? The Bible says to take care of them because of Jesus, because it doesn't say that. I mean, that's the answer. Read the whole thing. Genesis 1 to whatever the end is. Revelation something, 21, 22. It doesn't say that. Revelation 20, whatever it is. It doesn't say it anywhere. It never says to take care of Israel because of Jesus. So that's how you answer that. Your Majesty, King Baron, holy smoke. Why on earth aren't you wearing your bad cop hat? I cannot wait for this trial. How are they going to play this? Thanks. I've got my bad cop hat right here. I don't know how they're going to play this at trial. Not in a hat mood today. We'll see what their mountain of evidence looks like. The irony of Harpole's statement on Sean Ryan when he told the story of JD asking the surgeon, "What do you need?" He said the surgeon asked him and he responded, an autopsy. I don't want this to turn into another JFK. Yeah. Why is anyone asking the head security guy what he needs? And why is the head security guy suggesting a conspiratorial cover-up? Weird. Little too on the nose. The Jezebel spirit. The Kennedys had Marilyn. Fred Otash, the statements he made in the Unheard Tapes doc should be repeated to the world. Murders are not unique. Who is murdered is, and what makes this case is what makes, who is murdered is what makes this case unique. Yeah, thank you. First super chat ever. Brilliant. Your best episode. You came in with a bang. Thank you. Very kind of you. Joking. Gift of gratitude for the most sarcastic, imaginative, instructive high IQ rant I've ever heard. Take my Phi Beta Kappa key. You earned it. Thank you. I was never invited. When this ends, I'm going to rewatch immediately. Well, that's good advice. Breaking, CO just reposted the Daily Mail bullet used to kill CK did not match rifle allegedly used by suspect TR. The case is dead. I wouldn't say the case is dead, but I mean, you know, it's certainly a problem I think they weren't anticipating. Always remember, Muslims revere Jesus and Mary. Notice when they mention Jesus, it's accompanied with the phrase, may peace be upon him. Israelis murdered Jesus. Well, I remember. Best parody I've seen since Seinfeld's Magic Bullet Theory. Hilarious, sad, alarming, and right on target. Talking about the magic loogie? That is one magic loogie. Back to the left. Back. I guess I was going right there. Back. I hate to ask, but your Icelandic fan went rough and ordered a hoodie and had it shipped to her significant other who lives out your way. Order pays $320. No update on shipping, and the app says contact your Gmail. So my sister checked into all the outstanding orders. They're all processing. I will say it took me 14, 15, 16 days to get my merchandise when I ordered it. That's was part of the test. And that's why it took so long for us to confirm it was working. I believe it's in process. We didn't see any orders from back then that were not in process. So stand by. Baron has become unrebuttable. Anything can be rebutted. I would love to hear it. Email the Resurrecting Project Aqualine and Project Vanguard. Zorro Ranch is strategically located between Area 51 and Fort Huachuca. Desert Spirit Tech is part of a huge ghost network, all very fragmented like La Cosa Nostra. I'm sure that's real, but I don't know what you're talking about. I wish I did, because it sounds interesting. You and CO need to create a list of bad actors from the start and go through them one by one. I watched Candace's episode tonight, and you should just do deep dives into each bad actor. It's not everyone, but it's a lot. Christ is King, indeed. We've gone through a lot of them. I was doing some old-fashioned Google trend searching today. You know, Jeb Jacoby was searched in quotes, and he has a weirdly spelled last name, by the way. Overseas by our greatest ally in August. That's weird. I had to look down and make sure it was Barron and not Tim Dillon. Great episode, Barron. Oh, thank you. That's high praise. Very high praise. Absolutely brilliant, Barron. Best show yet. Thank you. All RBP episodes are great, but this one is one of the best. Thank you. You guys are very high praise tonight. I'm going to feel like my dog. You know I'm famous? No, I'm just kidding. Barron, you're good at what you're doing. Thanks. I wonder if the metadata of the flight PDF said anything about dates and author. Love from a country with a red flag. We didn't get the PDF metadata. All we got was a Twitter post. I'll be happy to review the PDF, Andrew, if you send it to me. realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. Al Gore invented the internet and algorithms. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. That's why we use algorithms. I spent 3 weeks in Morocco working for the USAF on medical mission. I truly believe Muslims believe in the same God as Christians. They wanted to talk about how much they love Jesus and Mary. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Morocco sounds interesting. Do they have good food? I bet they do. I always think of food. Sorry. Baron, awesome show last night. Last Sunday show, EK posting about LF Mama Lo. Why would anyone call their mom by using their name? Who was the aunt again that EK looks like? That was Carla Fransfeld. And her older sister. But that would make sense. I guess. Yeah, that was Carla. And so the fabrication of evidence has begun, all due to YouTubers pew-pewing meat and bones. I don't, Boise Jack, I don't know that they're fabricating evidence. It sounds like they're analyzing the evidence they were given and are not finding the match they hope to find. I, for one, happen to love Bad Cop Baron. And oof, did Candace channel him tonight. Candace was on fire. That was a side of Candace I love to see. We don't always get that side of her, but we did tonight, and it was refreshing. Baron, it's okay to proclaim, I don't know what swim it means on those low-budget podcasts. Oh, stop wasting my time. Thanks for putting in the work. They won't find a Daisy like Daisy, though. I don't think so either. Thank God for you and the hope you bring. Thank you for all your hard work. My daughter thinks you should stay Baron with me instead of bear with me. I don't know what that means, but I like it. Thank you. This is the energy Charlie was talking about when he told Tucker to go max. Long live Battle Bun, Baron, and Candace. Thank you. Thank you. I am doing my best. One of your best shows yet. God bless you and everyone else putting in the hard work to expose the works of darkness. God willing, we will learn the truth in this life. Pray without ceasing. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. More to come on D&H on Wednesday. Donna and Harvey? We're going to get an update on Wednesday? Don't toy with me, Harvey. Don't you toy with me. I want an update. Where were you when I was in school? I've learned more from you than in school. Graduated in 2010. Christ is king, and I appreciate you. Christ is king indeed. I was in 2010. I was a lawyer in Alabama. Another brilliant episode, Baron, per usual. FYI, Didi got a podcast. Going live with Lisa Knows at 9. Should be very interesting. Jesus loves you. That would be interesting. I like Didi. He amuses me some. Congrats on 250 subs. Baron on fire. Proud to be part of this high IQ outfit. Keep sharing the truth. This was definitely one of my favorite, definitely my favorite opening statement. Going max for Jesus. Happy Holy Week, Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Thank you. Thank you. Baron, where's your bad cop hat? Right here. Right here. Right here. Bad cop. Greater than max today. They changed narrative because 30-6 could not leave such a tiny hole. Love your common sense take. Well, if they do away with the 30-6, they got a real problem. They've got a real problem if they do away with the 30-6. Don't forget, Erica was also supposed to ride along, but home needed her. LBJ parallels are wild. Happy Holy Monday. Yeah, they are indeed wild. Would Frank Turk's statement from Candace's show today prove a HIPAA violation from the doctors telling PHI? We love you, Bubba Baron. Keep going, Max. I doubt it. My guess is, as the head of his security, he had some sort of healthcare proxy or something, if I had to guess, or some sort of HIPAA release. I don't know. I mean, he would have, yeah, I doubt it. I doubt it. I love it when you wear duck green. 2026, our year. This is mallard green. Is that what you're suggesting? Odds of TR getting pew-pewed the moment he's freed. I don't know that he'll ever be freed. I mean, they could always file a superseding indictment charging him with other things if they figure out he had some other role but didn't pull the trigger. They would have to have a new preliminary hearing. They would have to be, but it could happen. Well done, Baron. Amazing opening, exceptional research, crazy parallels. Wow. Yeah, very crazy. Thank you for that very generous contribution. Identification by the knuckle ratio. Yes, I identified. Thank you. Whole show is a smash hit for AD Fleet. Wowzers. Yeah. Thank you. I'll be interested to see. Knuckle ratio is diabolical. Well, it was true too, though. You can't hide those things. Why she wears all those rings. I've honestly never thought that, but that makes sense. Bubba, okay, Roscoe P. Coltrane, are the Duke boys on the loose again? Now I need some shrimp and grits. Man, roll that beautiful bean footage. Shrimp and grits are great. My family and I ate at a place called Gray's in Franklin the other night. They have a great shrimp and grits. It's not like a really classic shrimp and grits. It's really good though. I did not get it, but it was their shrimp and grits is phenomenal. I've had it many times. I thought about getting it. And I don't even eat dairy, and I thought about getting it. This was your best episode yet. Here's $5 for your services. Thank you. Thank you. Deseret News is a Mormon newspaper, Sir Baron. Mormons have a shady past. Look up Mountain Meadows Massacre. Christ is King for Charlie. Well, a lot of religions have shady pasts. We try not to hold everything against everybody. We don't judge people by their lowest moments. Christ is King indeed. I'm sure our LDS friends have some pasts of their church they're not wild about. We can all say that, I'm sure. Dang Baron, with all the sarcasm, YouTube is going to misinterpret it and push your video onto everyone's recommended feed. That would be funny. That would be fun. Are they doing that now? Let's look. Let's see what our rate is right now. That's pretty normal. Pretty normal. But we'll find out. We'll find out. Baron, I didn't know you're such an orator. You could be on the stage, amazing at pleading a case, a classic. Love the show. Happy Easter. Christ is King. Oh, Christ is love. Christ is King. Rejoice. Indeed. Christ is King indeed. I will rejoice because the Bible declares that we must. Always. And he'll say it again. Rejoice. Dang it, Baron. I was just taking a drink of coffee when you did the sheriff voice and literally got strangled. Christ is King. It's awfully late to be drinking coffee. It's 9 o'clock p.m. I guess if you're on the West Coast. That's not too late to drink coffee. That's not too late to drink coffee out there. Sorry. I forgot to welcome Gary and the Hamburglar. I mean, Lisa knows. I must say I hadn't seen anyone eat a hamburger on a live stream until last night, but don't sweat it. It was overshadowed by the train wreck. Oh my gosh, did she really? I didn't catch that part. You can excuse yourself. You can excuse yourself. You don't have to eat on the screen. That's funny. Long-time listener, first-time Super Chat. Baron, thank you for everything you're doing. First time I've been able to make it live. Keep going, Max. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Welcome to the program. Welcome to the program. Baron, sorry I'm late. You're forgiven. There's no need to apologize. Flying kites with the boys. Now that sounds like a good time. Keep going, Max. I will. Your podcast is hands down my favorite. Thank you. Don't tell Candace. Your intellectual integrity and humor is amazing. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Thank you for those high compliments. Oh, lovely. Grok stating it prompts a recheck of possible other guns and scene evidence. Funny how the scene was covered up a few days later. How convenient. Love your show, Baron. Be careful with Grok. I'll give you a caution with all AI programs. You got to double check everything they say. Triple check. Sarcasm had me LOL several times. Endorphins. Well, I'm glad I could help. Ms. Kriz. Viz. Did you watch Candace today? I did. You nailed the idea that they patsied Robinson by finding him looking at CP online. Well, it was just an opinion. Could have been doing more than that. Would Tyler Robinson have the right to sue AK or EK for defamation? He'd lose. I mean, he'd lose. Now, if he gets acquitted, I think he would have a case. I don't know. Maybe he filed. That's not a bad idea. Actually, I hadn't thought of that. I think he'd lose, but I mean, it's interesting. A little over a month ago, Cash was backtracking the FBI's involvement in the case, putting the responsibility in the state. We know, they know, we know. We know, they know, we know. Okay. I got you. Hi, Brand. Hi, Rose. Thanks for sharing the church Palm Sunday Eve photo. We appreciate it a lot. Great show tonight from Rose and Brian. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. We were allowed to go to Palm Sunday service, unlike our friends in Jerusalem, or whatever they call it. Interesting that they discussed Tyler's suicidal ideation and placed him on suicide watch upon entering jail. They'll have that to reflect on, blame, should something unfortunate happen to Tyler. Correct. Super Chat will not let me suggest that they might have gotten away with it. With this, if they had said Charlie was hit in the chest and hit microphone that exploded into his neck. Interesting. Yeah. I don't know why the Super Chat wouldn't let you say that. I love your show. Watch every live, but I must be low IQ because I'm stunned that you spent so much time sarcastically beating that horse. Oh, but it was fun. We had a good time. Don't be not low IQ. It's just I was having fun. At what point does TR get the right to speedy trial? How long can they keep requesting delays because defense hadn't gotten what they need for prosecution? Well, this was a defense requested delay. I don't know about the rule in the state of Utah. I raised a speedy trial defense exactly one time, and it was successful because we did not request discovery. In Florida, I think you had 175 days from either from the date of arrest, first appearance, arraignment. I'm not sure what the date when it started running, but we were coming up on it, and we filed a motion, a request for speedy trial, and they set a trial date on a date they did not have a trial session because otherwise they had to dismiss the charges, and we ended up getting a really good deal. But they didn't think about the fact that we didn't ask for discovery, because in Florida, if you ask for discovery, then you lose the right, not lose the right to speedy trial. You still have the constitutional right, but it's no longer statutorily defined as 175 days. I think I have that right. It's been a long time. I love the sarcasm. Pray for our troops and the innocent. The way CO yourself and others bring the truth to light just may save TR's life unless he suddenly becomes suicidal like JE. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. Thank you. Thank you for that. Satire. Part on. Then the Whopper. And finally, the prosecutor keeping AK up to date. I'm a chicken wing. What is that? You a chicken wing? Chicken drumstick? What is that? Awesome show tonight. Thank you, Chicken Drumstick. I cannot thank you enough. Barron's 20 years law versus Erica's law masters at Liberty. Well, Erica's been pretty silent. It's Andrew's the problem. He's the one causing all the problems. If he'd have just shut his mouth, like, you remember Erica should have gone to French Polynesia? Can you imagine if Andrew had gone to French Polynesia and never called Candace, never tried to get on a podcast, never said anything, never tried to offer absurdly ridiculous evidence that is easily refutable? It would have been a different case. If the two of them had gone to French Polynesia, we're looking at a totally different case. So weird, because it would not let me say that statement except in the form of a question. I scream a hot for proof. Okay. 5 stars for your opening statement. Would love to hear more of these. Thank you, Brad. You're welcome. It's Holy Week. Maybe we'll get more. Hey, Erica, Andrew, the cold sweat rolling down your forehead and causing the hairs on the back of your back to stand. You'll feel it again when they strap you to the chair. Whoa. I'm not a fan of the death penalty. Not a fan of the death penalty. Government is fallible. Wow. I'm not either. For that same reason, among others. Anytime someone said they are our only friend in the Middle East, I can't help but think before them, we had no enemies in the Middle East. U.S. missionary John Sheehan. I tend to agree quite a bit with that. Baron, why do they not have TR taken care of in prison? Blame it on another prisoner gang, etc., and move on. What would the repercussions of this be? Well, the case would be over. He's not in prison. He's in jail. He's in a county jail. And I think it would be harder to take him out in a county jail. But Mr. Einstein proved that is not always the case. Whatever happened to innocent until proven guilty? Well, that's a courtroom thing. And let me explain this. I hear this thrown about a lot. I think we need to use caution, because if we had a guy on film messing with kids, you wouldn't let him in your house around your kids, even though he hadn't been tried yet, right? So, in practice, we don't all obey innocent until proven guilty. That is a courtroom. That means we can't send someone to prison without a trial. They're presumed innocent until declared otherwise. However, I do think in a situation like this, where the evidence hasn't even been set forth, and I think there are real gaps in it, we ought to wait and be a little more cautious. What about TB's whereabouts leading up to the 10th? I don't know where he was. It's an interesting question. Tagged you in a video of Gary Lisa where he is blinking 32 times and gulping 93 gallons of air, finding out live that Andrew's Itinerary was made in 2026. That's funny. I don't know where you tagged me. I don't see tags very often. The art of being wise is keeping your mouth shut. Same goes for liars. If they were high IQ, they would stop digging. The French Polynesia problem that they're all suffering from. They're not there. You do a great JP Sears. Love it. Yeah, JP Sears is great. You talk about dry sarcasm. That is right up my alley. I like it. Baron, great opening. I would love for you to do an opening on all the patents of viruses, diseases, because as it's known for some of us, anything that has a patent is man-made. Interesting. Release Robinson. Again, I'm not entirely sure he had nothing to do with it. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think he pulled any triggers, but we'll see. Why would the case end if something happened to Tyler Robinson? He's innocent until proven guilty. Thanks, Baron. Christ is King. Yeah, but what they would say is we can't prove him guilty and he's the only suspect, so the case is over and they won't open it. It'll be done. I'm just telling you. That's what happens. Please pray I can get an apartment and a job soon. I will certainly do that. Chat while I drink tea. I do pray you get a job and an apartment. RMX, Indiana. Not too long ago, the FBI said they had their guy with Richard Jewell in Atlanta. They were wrong then, too. That guy got railroaded. He was a hero. What will happen to Tyler Boyer? What do you mean? When? For what? I don't know. Hi, man. What an amazing opening. My family and I always enjoy watching you. Please say hi to my 12-year-old daughter, Adriana. Hi, Adriana. She always gets a kick out of watching you. God bless you and your family. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Happiness Cherries. From Happiness Baron. But Baron, the spread of these ideas are dangerous. We all know that TR unsubscribed CK from the Losi Center. Please, because Jack P., Andrew, Blake, Erica, and Gary have confirmed this. Please trust the experts. Oh, I do. I wouldn't doubt it. I'm not like Charlie out here questioning when the government has spoken. But even before the government has spoken. Is the mountain of evidence in the room with us? I don't see it. I don't think so. I know you don't check your email anymore, but I sent you one. I believe you. Concerns our greatest friend nation. Check it out. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. How have they not had a prelim yet? I always thought a prelim happens in front of the magistrate to decide if the state has enough evidence to move forward. Is it different in each state? Well, it is different in each state, and it's different for, yeah, the answer is yes, it is. I thought you meant UFOs fighting in space at first. Oh, no, that's not what I meant. I meant countries shooting each other's stuff down. I can confirm 100% that Daisy is not on a $7,000 per show retainer. Oh, I can confirm that too. Your humble host isn't either. I was at the event with Tucker and Charlie and Candace, so I got to see them both live. Also, best sarcasm. Thank you. I bet that was a treat. Tucker's facial expressions when CK said government was involved in assassination of JFK. Grimace, eyes twinkled. Priceless. Play it again. Watch Tucker. I'll do that. I'm not going to do it right now because we're running behind, but I will do that. Baron, a commenter said you merit an Academy Award. I'll suggest two. Best actor, best documentary. We're all blessed by your tenacity, smarts, passion. Or if the bullet don't fit, you must acquit. Boy, that would be a great closing. If they can't match the bullet, that would be a great closing. I don't know, though, because those jurors might think OJ did it and might think you're pulling a fast one. They might not have heard about Jason. Sir Baron, having served for many months as both a juror and a grand juror, I can state unequivocally and under oath that this has been one of your most exceptional presentations to date. Bravo, Counselor. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Thank you, Ivan. I'm sorry you had to serve for months as a juror and grand juror. Hey, Baron, what do they mean the bullet doesn't match gun? I thought they said the bullet was frangible. Secondly, I asked you yesterday, will you go to the trial and during it offer to be Tyler's lawyer? And I answered, no. I'm not licensed in Utah, and I think that would be totally out of bounds. Thai, Jamaican, or Indian coconut chicken curry. Thai. But those other ones sound amazing. That might be Indian, actually. I don't know. It's spicy like it's spicier like a Thai chicken curry. So I used to have a favorite restaurant we used to live. It was actually a Laotian restaurant. The sweetest little guy ran it. I mean, he was so nice. Can't remember his name. Little teeny feller. I'm not cheesing on him, but he was like 4'8". I mean, little bitty guy. And if you ordered something Laotian hot, they would basically warn you, don't do this. Don't do this to yourself. Well, my brother-in-law didn't believe them. So he ordered it. Laotian hot. That's a bad idea. He took a couple bites. He's like, I can't eat this. I was like, don't do that. Don't do that. He's like, well, I always get it the hottest they can make it. Okay. Okay. It was hilarious. It was a great day. I'll never, one of those I'll never be able to be in that situation again. Like you're just glad you were there. Anyone else think it's weird? A ton of planes been going down since EK was announced a part of Air Force. Well, she's not a part of the Air Force. She's on the board of visitors for the Air Force Academy. Considered reading public motions for this case on stream. I have, actually. I have. Brilliant side-by-side comparison with CK talking about JFK. Brilliant. Simply brilliant. Blessed Holy Week to you and your family, and to you and yours. Thank you. Thank you for that generosity. Hey, Bar. Bar. Now I'm just Bar. You guys are a B-Dog. Baron Bar now. I was raised in Montana, and my dad was a sergeant for, I'm assuming that's the Kalispell Police Department for 25 years. Let me know if I can help make connections there. Kelsey Zimmerman, thank you. That was a generous offer. Thank you. If Tyler Robinson is tried and isn't convicted or dies for whatever reason, can the state try anyone else for the same murder if more evidence is discovered and someone is charged? Of course. Of course. Bayron, great opening. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. I love how this group plays word games. Joe never said he would testify in defense of Tyler. Correct. He would testify to what he's stating if subpoenaed. A little different. Keep it max. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They're dishonest. Baron, you are absolutely going max tonight. Keep up the excellent work. I'm doing my best here, my good sir or ma'am. Ma'am. Go Oscar, finally. Love your show. It's a bright spot in my day. I love the yellow hoodie. It looks great on you. Oh, thank you. I was told yellow washes me out by a guest, by a listener. Glad to watch your success, sir. Montgomery misses you. Oh, I wish I knew who you were, Gump Town, but that just reading Gump makes me miss it. Man, I don't miss the Gump very much, but I do miss the Gump radio. That was a cool radio audience, by the way. Very, very unique talk radio audience. So thank you for saying that. Thanks for checking in all these years later. We saw a couple of fireballs falling from the sky last week, 15 miles west of Houston, Texas. Moved very slow, very odd indeed. Yes, I don't think they're meteors. Meteors do not move slow. They don't move slow at all. Phenomenal opening statement. God bless you, B. God bless you as well. Thank you, Suzanne. Shocker, TR's DNA is on a gun that belonged to him. Smoking gun. I had that conversation today. Talking with Zach, actually. Same conversation. I said, every gun I own has my DNA on it, even the ones I've just cleaned. Because I put them back. Seems you've kept my interest for a month. To be honest, it's been an absolute pleasure to have found your show. Well, to be honest, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you in the audience. So thank you. Thank you. Ordered high IQ shirt this weekend. Keep going, Max. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, the merch store is open, by the way. I don't know if we can keep it open. We keep trying and it keeps failing, but it's my problem. My problem. Not yours. Not yours. If I was rich, I wouldn't have these problems. Baron, say. And Daisy. Oh, Beyonce and Jay-Z. I like this. Except you just made me the woman, though. It's a little weird. If we're being honest. I only think back to your ideal opening statement being easels holding up photos of the moment Charlie's shirt puffed up and before he was deleted. Continuing the pew-pew narrative as a passive admission they don't want other alternatives explored. That's correct. Other alternatives mean it was someone close to him. Today is my birthday, and on the 28th, hubby and I celebrated 28 years of marriage. Got us so good. Have a blessed Easter. I will be getting ready to celebrate 25. Congratulations on 28. I'll be celebrating 25 in a few months. 28's amazing. That's amazing. And happy birthday to you, Michelle. Thoughts on J.R.R. Tolkien and JFK Jr. still alive? Keep up the good work. I haven't looked into either one of them much. I don't believe JFK Jr. was the Q guy wandering around. I don't think that. Could he have faked his death? I don't know. Possible, I guess. Yeah, maybe. Where's Rob McCoy? Seems awfully silent lately. Probably a smart move. The others should take notes. He still give Alley Top Files I saw today had a video. I don't know when it was taken, but it was a little 3 or 5 minute clip of him talking about something. I don't remember what it was. I remember enjoying it. I don't remember what the topic was now that I'm thinking about it. So he might still be making the rounds, just not talking Charlie Kirk as much. I don't think. Clemson's first national championship, 1981. You must be talking about the other sport. The sport where the Indiana University Hoosiers are the reigning national champions. Indiana, of course, being the only school with the most recent undefeated basketball season and most recent undefeated national championship football season. No other school holds that. Hey, Baron. Now that the bullet can't be tied to Tyler's gun, is it possible this doesn't go to trial? Just curious what other variables are now at play. P.S. We love your show. No, I wouldn't think so. Here's how I think that'll play out. So when you test a bullet, there's basically 3 outcomes. Yes, we can definitively state it comes to, or pretty definitively state it comes from the gun A. No, we can pretty definitively state it does not come from gun A. And then there is the inconclusive. We can't say it comes from that gun. We also can't say it doesn't come from that gun. We don't know. That could be because there's not enough left or the markings are just kind of vague. So if it's the third option, I think they just go forward. The prosecution does with everything else they have. They can't place the bullet going from the gun to the neck, but they can place him coming on campus. They can allegedly show a video of him firing a weapon. They can show the autopsy report of how he died from a similar weapon. I mean, it's a harder case, certainly, but I don't think it's impossible. But it does raise a real argument for the defense on reasonable doubt. Real argument. EK, TPUSA, terrified by deep state elimination. If I was those 3, if I was those 2, I would be sleeping with one eye open. I would not want to be part of the cleanup job. What? Tilly sleeps in a cage? By her own. She goes in it. She goes in it. She sleeps in it all day. We leave the door open all day. She goes in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. In fact, she has 2 beds in the living room. One's kind of a memory foam bed. Another one is some kind of wool sack or something. And she just decides. Sometimes she's on one, sometimes she's on the other. She doesn't, she'll keep you guessing. She doesn't want to be, she don't want you to know where she's going to be. She wants to keep you guessing. Is she on the right side of the TV or the left side of the TV? We don't know. We don't know. At night, though, she tends to be on the memory foam one. And then when she sees me heading back to the bedroom, or sometimes when I'm in here late and I'm finishing the editing from the show, she will, adding chapters and trimming out the beginning, she will come in here and look at me like, well, are you done, old man? All right. So I have to walk her in there. She won't go in there. She will, but I have to walk her into the room. And then she turns the corner, goes right in there, sits down, looks up like, I think she feels safe in there. AK lives 2 minutes from the airport, is 15 minutes without traffic. That's good to know. That's really good to know. Can you address Nicholas Haggerty as British Intel? I can't. I don't know anything about it. I mean, some other commenter mentioned that. I don't know. I'll look at it. I like the book. It's a good book. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Kimberly. The ATF could not match the bullet to Tyler Robinson's gun, and when the news breaks, the sheriff resigns. Breaking news just now. Color is not shocked. I wouldn't think those were related, but I don't know. I wouldn't think they are. Reference back to yesterday's show. Have you received the manifest from the flight with alleged AK was actually on? No. Would be a nice piece of evidence to have tonight. Was by far your best and most informative opening statement. Jesus is king indeed. Bless you. Thank you. No, I've not received anything. See if they texted me during the show. What? What? I just got a valuable piece of evidence. It's not mine to share. But I would pay close attention to the principle. Bundy attended UVU through a recommendation letter from the governor of Washington State. He had high connections. Well, that's interesting. Is CO aware of exculpatory evidence? That better not be a middle finger. Exculpatory, like Brady material? I don't think so. Does she have more evidence that's going to make them look really bad pretty soon? Yeah. Yeah. Her next installment of The Bride of Charlie should be pretty good. If I had to guess. Proud to be part of this high IQ outfit. Thank you. Glad to have you. RBP tip of the day. When someone says something crazy, you reply with, I don't know what that means. Thank you. Smile and move on. If you don't know what it means, don't lie to them. Just tell them. I don't know what that means. Maybe TR actually does have a good defense team. Yeah, maybe. Holy moly. Andrew's age 10 years and 6.5 months. Guilt is a heavy burden, Andrew. Come to Jesus and repent. Daisy pulled up his show today, and he did not look normal today. He looked frazzled. He was stuttering and not himself. Just my opinion. The Buford T. Justice old boy call has shown enough got me rolling. Had to back up and play that whopper again. I might have to listen to that. I just say stuff. Tip for you. Blake Budnars on YouTube has a video. I believe you. Has he released the original 3.2 gig video? Like, has he put it on a Google Drive where everybody can go download it? Because I'd like to see it. The original, not the one he put on Twitter, but the original video. Has he released that? I'd like to see it. The keyboard warriors calling people names solves nada. Seems like some sincerely don't want justice for CK. They just want to be right. 40-something men calling people the R word is very low IQ. Well, I've said it. I'm Orthodox, and on Easter, we greet each other by saying, Christ is risen, to which you respond, truth has risen, in my native language, Macedonian. Reminds me of how you always say indeed after Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. Thank you for sharing that. Absolutely brilliant tonight. Brilliant. The sarcasm tone, cadence, pure trial attorney from one to another. I loved it. Thank you, Jill of all trades. You retired, though, didn't you? Didn't you retire? Didn't you write in a month or two ago saying you retired? Thank you for saying what I've wanted to say for months. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. Baron, am I wrong? Where's Andrew and his puffy face starting to look like the alcoholic Baron we've all heard about? You haven't heard. I've showed video of it. It pops up in my YouTube feed every now and then. Some old clip will show there, and I'm like, ooh, walk around like that. A little, though. A little. I agree. Rage super chat in here last night was live with Gary. I saw that. Baron, Adfleet should make a video for this episode. Thank you, Daisy and your sister, for all this hard work. Also, why not go with checkered vans? I just never bought any. I mean, I might. I like the black ones. They're kind of all occasion. I got my dress vans. Enough vans for one man. Baron commenter who wanted you to go back to episode 86 was pointing to the TPUSA advertisement running on the screen you keep missing. Oh, I did miss it. Thank you. I could truly use prayers. I'm battling health issues, really struggling, like in quicksand. My son will be married in November. Need this year to provide some type of relief. Day number 1147. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. Remember, even Paul suffered with a thorn in his flesh. And you might read his words. It was a burden, but it made him closer to the Lord. I'm not suggesting I want you to be in pain. Certainly don't understand that or having health issues, but I'll pray for you. Thank you. Edge. Yes, Renee. I remember the earmuffs too. So much change in such a short time. Sir, great job on 1.25 million, $250,000. Thank you. Yeah, I wore the earmuffs a few times. You need honey cough drops. I have some. They're right here. I just can't talk with them in my mouth. These are Weatherspoon Organic Manuka honey drops. I'm getting a cramp in my foot right now. Hold on. I got to stand on it. Okay. Hopefully that goes away. This implies there was a bullet found, at least a fragment. Oh my gosh. I got to stand up, guys. Sorry. Don't make any sense of the fact that my sweatpants don't match my sweatshirt. You're not supposed to see them. I'm a cedar. Oh my gosh, it's cramping like crazy. Port Arthur massacre in Australia was the craziest cover-up, and most people don't know about it. They brought a fridge truck big enough for the victims. I have to look into that. That sounds crazy. Any thoughts on why they fired security guy Brian Harpole and not risk him telling all if the security team was involved as they appear to be? IMO, thank you for all you're doing. I've got a theory on that, and I'm not ready to roll it out yet. Am I? No, I'm not ready to roll it out. It's got to be way more prepped than I can do right now. I have a theory on that. I'll have to bring it up later. The truth seems crazy in a world full of lies. Kanye West. I'm very surprised he hasn't publicly commented on CK or the new war when he was right before most in 2023. God bless. Happy Holy Week. Well, they seem to have gotten to old Ye. Baron, this episode is a masterclass of how to be facetious. Go Max and stay gold. I will. Bob Dylan said he sold his soul on 60 Minutes. Christ is King. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. People have said it. Andrew's hairstyle is going to be like Blake soon. He's losing hair. I noticed that the other day. His hairline's crawling back. It's okay, Andrew. Embrace it. Blake does. It looks great with a bald head. What if government is in on it and lie regarding itinerary? It could be. I mean, bravo, Baron. You got it by the onions. You can be short at, Bubba. I'll have to go back and listen to that call. Gary's guest obvious panic after they streamed you talking about defamation per se was 1,000% worth giving him a view. She blinked like Gary. Yeah, well, she should. It may come back to haunt her. Baron, Daily Mail dropped post saying new court filings claims the bullet that took out CK doesn't match rifle allegedly used by TR. Thoughts? Keep going, Max. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Yeah, we covered that. You are my CLE, if only the bar agreed. I've taught CLE. I have a certificate around here somewhere. I don't know. I used to have it hanging up, but I don't know where it is now. I taught a CLE class in East Tennessee back in 2012. Kingsport in October. It was beautiful. Beautiful. Funny story. We're late. I won't tell the story. I'll make it quick. I was there with a guy who was a photographer. And he wanted to take some pictures. And there was this beautiful, like, old-looking plant over there. And he was out there taking pictures of it. And then we get arrested. Like, stopped by the cops. It was scary. And we had no idea why. I'm like, well, we're not doing anything. You know, and they're like, what are you doing here? I'm like, we're here for a lawyer conference. I'm actually presenting tomorrow. Please don't take me to prison. And why are you taking pictures? Let me see your camera. And they deleted everything out of it. Come to find out, it's a missile factory. They make missiles or something. No idea. Be careful what you take pictures of, folks. You might be taking a picture of a missile factory and get detained. I haven't laughed this much in a long time. Thank you. One of the best episodes yet. Thank you. I appreciate that. Look at that. Thank you, Tisa. Dropping membos on people. Thank you, Baron, for making the show amazing with your beautifully written opening statements. Your show is truly really amazing. Excuse me. Your hard work and integrity is evident. Jesus Christ is King. Thank you. Thank you for that very high praise. Thank you. 30 years, 4 states, no appeals because no need. Keep up the great work. Lil bro, day by day, the walls of Jericho are about to collapse. Respectfully. Well, you're acting like the appeals were my cases. No, these are cases I was hired on to work on an appeal. My friend. I'm a big believer that you shouldn't do your own appeal on a criminal case, though. The reason is because I just think it's better to have somebody else looking over your shoulder. If I screwed up, I want the best for the client. If something I did, if I missed an objection, I want someone to bring it up. Blame me. You know. They're actually funny about that. You might appreciate this. There was one time I really felt like I missed an objection, and I thought it was important. And when the guy filed his appeal by right, he was convicted. When he filed his appeal by right, I contacted his appellate lawyer and said, hey, I blew it on this one. And he was like, what do you mean? And so I kind of gave him the story. I'm like, I'm not sure exactly what day it was, but here was the question. Here was the witness. I thought about it after the fact. I went home that night. I was sick. Actually, I went back to the hotel. I was out of town. I was in Cincinnati. And I said I was sick. Like, I was just sick. I missed it. And I thought he was going to get off too. He did not. But, and then the guy was like, I wouldn't worry about that. He's like, that's not a big deal. And felt better. And that was like 6 months later. But I felt better. But thank you. Watch DD's live now to see the crazy debate with housewife going on after the show. After the show, of course. Very not sure if someone's already mentioned, but the officer who arranged Tyler to turn himself in is resigned today. No coincidence, I'm sure. I don't think that's exactly accurate. The officer who the retired officer who deputy who convinced him to turn himself in is not the one who resigned. The one who resigned today was the actual sheriff. So those are two different people. Please use this to send AK a copy of Intro to Logic. He clearly needs it. Christ is king of table flipping. I ought to send a whole stack of those to TPUSA. That would be brilliant. I actually might do that. Send like 5 of them. Blake, Andrew, Mikey. They could use it. Sad. Mods put me in timeout. Love you, B. Gomax. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. Behave in there, ECCCCRE. Behave in there. Baron, this subject matter was delivered brilliantly tonight. Well done, good and faithful podcaster. This was over the top great, as is our King of Kings. He has risen. Have a blessed Holy Week, my friends. Ski Florida, thank you. I appreciate that. Water ski, I assume, if you're talking about Florida. Not a lot of snow skiing taking place in the Orange State, the Sunshine State, whatever it is. Not a lot of water skiing down there. Thank you for that generous contribution. Love this high IQ outfit. Go Max. Love bad cop. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. Thank you. Tonight's been a roller coaster show. Loved the opening statement, then the expert use of 2 of my love languages, sarcasm and conspiracy theory, and segment with CK, vids and tweets. But hit me hard, made me cry. End with LOL at AK. I didn't mean to make you cry. Northern Catholic JFK needed LBJ to win the South. Oh, that's why. Yeah, fair enough. Thank you. In regards to JFK, have you seen the Joe West jail interview? No. Anyone I show it to is convinced he was the one on the grassy knoll. I think I have it, though. I think Daisy sent it to me and told me to watch it. I think. Maybe that's not the right one. But Baron loved the delivery tonight. Can you help me understand how someone becomes Patsy? Now, they agreed to be Patsy, knowing all the blowback that could happen. Yeah. They get caught looking at little people, young people. And then they're told you can go to jail as a young person admirer, or you can walk this rifle over there with your handprints all over it. I mean, that's just an option. It's an option. Uncle Baron, please ask CO why she did not go to the location when she got the message. What happened to CK? Was it because of AK said it should have been you, so don't come here? I mean, what would she do there? Like what? I'll ask. Maybe I'll ask. I don't know. My 2-year-old daughter had a seizure tonight. Second time in 2 weeks. We don't know why. Please pray for her. I absolutely will. That sounds terrifying. I'm assuming it's not a febrile seizure. Heather of the Shire. I absolutely will. The thought of AK dressed as beauty school dropout Frenchie in Greece, singing Hollywood Dropout in Adfleet's next vid, has me rolling. You gave her a ton of fodder tonight. Thank you. That would be amazing. Andrew dressed up as Frenchie singing Hollywood Dropout would make my day. Hollywood Dropout. You can have Mikey. Oh, man, Mikey would make an appearance. Woman on Zoom call. Very touched by Jesus. Loves you. I think I know what you mean, but thank you, I guess. By the way, favorite team of all time, Alfred, Callaway, Smart, Garrett Thomas with Coach Robert Montgomery Knight, the general, the real general, not Mikey. At the helm, Christ is king indeed. That 87 team was stellar. They went 32-4. LSU and the LSU, UNLV, and Syracuse back to back to win the national championship. Great team. Great team. Socks, shorts, 1, 2, 3, swish. $250,000. Very impressive. Any chance with what's come to light via investigative journalists, the plan has changed and is taking a different route? Members of this trial fighting the narrative. I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out. I mean, it's a chance. You asked any chance. Yeah, the answer to the question is yeah, sure. There's a chance. Ted Bundy attended Utah State Law School. Oil, not UVU, and UVU only became college, 4-year college in 93. Okay. Duly noted. You're a better actor than EK. Yeah, but she looks better in black leather pants. 6 on one hand, half a dozen on the other. My favorite episode, IHI, heavy satire, and free thinking. Charlie, Christ is King, excuse me. Yes, I'm yelling in celebration. I was going to say, why are you yelling at me? In celebration, obviously. They get upset because if the rest of the world sees the truth, it will upset the world order where evil gets to rule. The stars falling. I hope the stars aren't falling. That means, in that Matthew 25 where the stars fall to the earth and it means the world is ending? That sounds terrifying. Ready to dive deep tonight? Keep doing your thing, Baron. Go Max. Thank you. Diving deep tonight. Let's go. Yes, thank you. May the Lord protect your opening statement from the YouTube censors. Amen, Brother Baron. You are spreading truth with grace and dignity. Stay classy, Baron. Doing my best. May the everyone go back and listen to Baron say 99.999 100% at 1.5 speed. It will make your day. Fair enough. Kay Adams. You know how naive you sound. Michael Corleone. Why? Kay Adams. Senators and presidents don't have men killed. Michael Corleone. Oh, he's being naive, Kay. Godfather fan, I see. If the bullet doesn't match, you shouldn't that be proof Tyler Robinson wasn't the shooter and the case dismissed? I don't know if that would mean the case is dismissed. That was from our grumblers. I don't know if that means the case would be dismissed, but it certainly presents a headache to the prosecution. Certainly. I already saw that one. Charlie Kirk Conspiracy Section's podcast was brilliant. It's on another level. Hat tip to you and your masterclass. Christ is King. Indeed. Thank you. Christ is King indeed. Best show on the air. Shh. We don't say that out loud. Has anyone dug into the texts CK sent? They're going to kill me. A normal friend would ask questions like who or why. CK may have listed people that need investigating in that exchange. Yeah, he might have. Mims Pay, I think, just joined. I don't know what that means. 2258, today's show. CO says Jonathan Barcelo was Marine 2013 to 17 at least, and based on Chile. Erica was in Chile in 2017. Maybe that's how they met. Could be. I hadn't thought about that. I was wondering how that came to be. I can't thank you enough for the show tonight. The opening statement was the best thing I've heard in a long time because you and Candace are legendary truth tellers. It's leading me towards Catholic Church in a real way. Thank you. Well, thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Satire point on. That's a coffin. That wasn't a chicken wing. No, it makes more sense. I'm dead. Not I'm a chicken wing, because I'm a chicken wing doesn't make any sense, does it? So thank you. Candace noted the Egyptian planes were not following Charlie, but instead Erica. Would you think that maybe they weren't following her, but instead meeting with her? I don't know. I didn't follow the Egyptian planes all that closely. I'm interested to see. I think Candace at some point will update us on that, and I'm interested to see her update. Just watch TriggerSmart video. Please get that video to Tucker Carlson. I don't have a contact to Tucker Carlson. Back and forth on JFK versus Charlie was some of your best work. Anyone confused should watch that back. Thank you for all you do. I tend to agree that it would be edifying to people to watch. Fireballs in the sky. What we are seeing is more than likely satellites falling due to the weakening magnetic field and more space weather taking them out. Check out Space Weather News. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. That's interesting. I was thinking more a war on satellites. We've proven we can blow them up, but space weather, weakening, gravitational. Yeah, I get you. I got you. But Baron, congrats on the milestone. You and Candace are my never miss podcast, and your family has become accustomed to my needing silence. My family's been accustomed to my needing silence. When Baron is on, God bless you, brother. Go back. Don't be hard on your family. You can always hit pause. Always hit pause. By the way, thank you so much to everyone for praying. Charges are filed against my father. Looking forward to a new life and going max myself. I love your show and humor. I'm glad you had the courage to do that. That broke my heart when you shared that the other night. Big Daddy Baron, can you go longer than 3 hours? I'm a high IQ kind of gal. Yes, I watch every show and member show. Also, Harvey and Donna are the main characters in Suits. PSYOP. Just kidding. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. Sorry, Chris. Yeah, Chris, you've been dethroned by the Messiah. That's great. I didn't know Harvey and Donna were the main characters in Suits. That would be great if this was a giant long-term play. Stars Falling, 353, timestamped on Katie Souza episode with Tom Brewer. He saw a giant. I don't know what all that means, but I believe you. If, God forbid, the Iran war goes on long enough, could the midterm elections be postponed, canceled? No, I doubt it. Forgive me if I'm late on this, but Gary, we had an election in the Civil War. I'm not saying that to you. I'm saying that to anybody who would try to postpone elections. We had an election in the middle of the Civil War. Forgive me if I'm late on this, but Gary from PT, realizing the year on the Paradise Plains itinerary is 2026 and AK's wife name is spelled wrong, is my new clubhouse leader for best work today. He's done some good work. Yay, you're accepting emails again. Not really. I'm searching for specific emails. Don't think you found a loophole, Michelle Smith. Don't. Start falling, come down to. Oh, I think I already read that. He saw a giant while rescuing trafficked children. Candace Owens, Queen, Whitney Murphy, Madam Principal. This has been decided months ago, Counselor. I'm sorry. Roll that beautiful bean footage. I'm just a substitute teacher. I don't get to make those calls. Israel is the holy land. That does not mean his people are holy. He gave his life for all mankind, not just Jewish people. Christ is. We're back to Chris. Chris is back on top, guys. Chris is king. I won't give it an indeed, but I mean, I'm just reading what it says right there. And they're only here for the tea. I'm so late now starting this feed. Candace had a Joe rant tonight. I loved it. Yeah, she went crazy. Thorn in your foot? Oh, no, I hope not. It's just a cramp. It's gone now. At ease, soldier. Best live yet? Oh, wow, thank you, Kim. Very kind. Just brilliant. Loved your opening statements. Started watching when less than 300 subscribers. Have my husband hooked now too. Much respect, Kim and Brent. Jesus followers from Minnesota. I have cousins in Minnesota. They talk like this. Well, that kind of sounded Indian. I don't know how they talk, but they talk differently than I do. And I'm sure they sound a lot like you, Kim. And it's great. It's great. Thank you, Kim, very much. And Brent, welcome to the program. Fun facts. My mom called me Megan Eggs. Oh, that's why you're Megs and Cheese. I got you. Megan Eggs. Dylan did not say sold soul. His deal was God. Oh, well, that's kind of the opposite. The pop was at 12:23. FBI website shows someone jumps roof at also 12:23. So he reassembled the pew across the street with no screwdriver. Go Max, Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. I think the governor recanted on his statement that he disassembled and reassembled the gun. So I don't know why he would have said such a thing. I don't know where that idea came from, but I think he's recanted on. Oh, roll that beautiful bean footage. For steak, shrimp, and grits, curry chicken, or whatever, man, you're quickly reaching legendary status. Thank you. Have you heard from Sean Ryan? I have not. I don't know if that guy was real or not. He didn't reach out. I don't think, unless I missed the email. Awesome. Sympathy on foot cramps, electrolytes, and hydration are key. Love your show. Christ is king. Yeah, Christ is king indeed. It's the asthma medicine. It gives me foot cramps and lower leg cramps. Just when I thought you couldn't get any better, UFO it. I rushed to see you and tell dogs and hubby, be quiet. It's Baron. Don't cause problems at home over the show. I'm telling you guys. Let him bark. Hello, sir. GM said in his live that you are more dangerous, convincing than CO. Feels like he's going to make you the new target. He can't bring you down to his low IQ level, but just a heads up. I'm not worried. Hubs is not on board with our brilliance. Still blind, but just started Tombstone, so there's hope. Edge, You're watching the greatest movie ever made. In your humble host's opinion. In your humble host's opinion. Greatest show ever made. Tombstone. Guys, it's that time. It's that time. We're pushing up 3.5 hours. It's nighttime here in the Central Time Zone. It's pushing 10 o'clock. I don't know where you guys are, but I hope you're having a wonderful evening, afternoon, day, morning, wherever you are, whatever time you're watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, notifications, share with friends and family. You know, stand up, clap your hands, do your squats every day. I'll be back with you on the member show tomorrow. If you're a member, we'll be here tomorrow because I am going to switch the member show from Friday to Tuesday this week because of Good Friday. So we'll do a member show tomorrow. Not sure exactly what time. Probably 1-ish, maybe 1:30, maybe 2, but somewhere in there, Central Time. And yeah, be back Wednesday for the free show. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Behave in other people's comment sections, guys. Behave in other people's comment sections. It's Holy Week. Be on your best behavior. Do your Lord proud. And don't forget. Don't you ever forget. Jesus loves you. Have a good night, guys. I'll see you guys Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, somewhere in there. Between 5 and 7 start time, usually. Take care.